So we see draw to the button. The Slushinski team starting with Hammer.
Hard.
Undoubtedly, that center guard was the first rock thrown.
15-4.
And that red in the back 12 on the center line was an attempt to come around and draw into the 4-foot. But as mentioned, the ice is keen. Opening rock, a bit of nerves, a bit of adrenaline. And
yeah, certainly Slushinski has the hammer, and they just put up a corner guard, try to build an end here. Park looking to come down and just drawing behind their own rock.
They just went through on this line, so it looks like they made the adjustment. Threw it to sweepers, but they're getting caught by the curl. So they made the adjustment on the weight. And of course,
boy, they missed that curl, didn't they, Owen, by at least
they missed their weight. They backed up so much that proper weight, they might have had a chance to get it by, but
wasn't always the thing, though. You throw one a bit too heavy, so you try to dial back a little bit, but then you dial back too far.
Yeah,
you're right. So first game of the day, bit of opening jitters.
Yeah, they'll feel out the sheet.
Feel.
As we mentioned, they're two highly world-ranked teams, and they'll figure it out. Usually they play it pretty close to the vest here, and we see indeed Slushinski's going to take advantage of that error. Try to get rid of both guards. They get a little bit out and only get the one.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a few early misses.
Everyone's asleep.
Yeah, little unforced errors can really make the difference.
They missed every shot.
Settle in and dial in this game pretty quick here. 8 end games go by pretty fast.
There in the background, we heard a comment from one of the Slushinski players.
I mean,
everybody's asleep.
With
reference to the misses happening already.
You don't have to just pump it
a little frustration early.
Appeal's appeal. It's going to run straight on any ice.
It's a good fascination to hear the. It's nice to have the curlers mic'd. Get a little view into their thinking and their moods.
Yeah, especially in the later ends when things are really tight and it's coming down to the last few rocks of the 7th or 8th end. The decision-making process really does give you insight into the options and how they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like I would just spin them a lot in the hack.
I'm always amazed sometimes at the complexity of the shot they're contemplating. Such a contrast from my games in the club level.
Sure. I mean, most of the people tuned in are either curlers or curling fans and realize most of the ins and outs, and that at this level of curling, it's a much different game and demands a much different strategy than we employ in the club leagues on any given night in any given club across the land.
Yeah, we do want to thank the people that have tuned in online to watch these matches. It's I know the teams out there certainly appreciate the fan following, and we here at the club and at the 2023 New Forest Curling Classic appreciate people following along and tracking the matches as they go along. Just looking for a nice gentle takeout here.
Yeah, doing the peel. They brought their weight down to incorporate some curl, so they made the adjustment after their first high weight peel. Only did half the job. There we go, wide open out front. One lonely kind of corner guard. Slushinski may be able to use that. Yes. But we are getting into the later ends. This will be the last of the third rocks. So perhaps there's still a skip's deuce, as they say, on the table for Slushinski. But the way the rocks are, there's also a good possibility of a blank. That's going to be decided here.
Yeah, certainly in the early ends, Slushinski will be looking to either take two or blank.
Right.
Like to start the game with a bit of a dominant position.
Now we see Park has chosen to draw around that corner. What he's doing here is he's trying to force a single. So if he can get around that corner hidden, he's going to be lying two. And with only two rocks left, that's going to make it difficult for a blank for Mr. Slushinski.
Yeah, this is the
third's last rock.
Yeah, the last of the thirds for Park and the Slushinski have their last of the third. So, and you're right. The Park rink will be looking to. They're not set up to be stealing, so they'll certainly be looking to try to force Slushinski to take one.
A little light, a little tight.
Yeah, way tight.
A little gonna wick. Enough to get in the rings, no. But
just a little biter. Look
got
at
a biter.
on the overhead, yeah.
However, that is a significant error. That's going to give even better opportunity for Slushinski with 3 rocks to go to score a multiple of some kind.
What's that? We've seen so far, Owen, 3 or 4 misses by both sides?
Yeah.
Total, yeah. So.
Yeah. They're struggling.
Yeah.
In the words of Slushinski's team member, nobody's awake yet.
Yeah.
The money ends are a long ways away. I'm confident both teams will get it dialed in.
They just look at it come down for the little tap, are they? Looks like by the ice they've taken.
Run back.
Oh, okay, there we are. That makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. So to try and do a run back.
Blue on
It's
blue.
a curious call. Didn't really work out.
No, it's
curled up just a tad and ends up taking his own out.
Yeah, I mean the shot was there, but it was a pretty difficult shot. It was quite a bit of angle and quite a bit of distance between the first and second rocks to hit there. So now Park's going to come in behind with a draw.
Yeah, looks to me like the force is on. The way the rocks are. A successful shot here.
This is the first of the skip stones for Park. What do you think about that ice on it? Looks like a bit much, doesn't it?
We'll find out. Don't forget they over-curled and clipped on their last effort.
Yeah.
So I think he's decided to take ice to make sure I get by. Even if he's not buried with the arrangement of the rocks, he'd be in good shape as far as the force goes. Even if he's half buried, he kind of takes away any kind of a double unless Slushinski wants to do a run back with that near 2 feet near center guard of his own. So we'll see. First we see if they're successful on Skip's first rock from Team Park. Line looks good, weight looks good. Waiting on the curl.
Got to curl some more.
He did err on the side of caution. He didn't want to clip.
Another bit heavy, going way behind the tee line.
Yeah. But as I said, in the end, there's no real double there.
The Park team curls out of the Gangneung Curling Center.
Right.
Korea. They're young. The Skip's 38. And brackets they wrote down very old. The third is 28, the second is 28, and the lead is 26. It's a reasonably young team.
There you go. A bit of a mistake going deep there. Now a 2 is definitely on for Slushinski. If you can get around that guard and in front of the backing, he's got a good shot at scoring a deuce.
Yeah, that was.
Notice he's taking a much tighter line, and you notice he has very high rotation.
And the sweepers are on it right from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was certainly a crucial mistake by Park.
Yeah.
Put that one so deep. Now provide backing for Slushinski.
A lot of curling is not giving your opponent opportunities.
Exactly.
Wow, I never thought that was heavy.
So he's set up for a 2 if Mr. Park doesn't make a good shot here. So pressure on.
And we bumped it that far.
Korean team, if he doesn't make a good shot, the pressure goes back.
Wild.
For a straightforward but not simple draw for a 1 for Slushinski, if indeed Park makes a good freeze on this.
And that certainly is Park's goal at this point, is to hold him to 1.
Almost no matter where he goes.
Interesting, he hasn't tightened his ice.
Like a control 8 if we want.
I'm not sure why, but the skip rocks are, the last rock is the number 4 rock. So I guess
there you go. So they've done their homework. They know something.
Yeah, they know something.
7 and 8 are not the preferred rocks.
High, like above the tee, where it's
something at the club level we don't notice a lot. A lot of times we put it down to the shooter or the ice. But the rocks themselves all individual and different. And at this level, it's a big part of the game. Usually the alternate or the coach keeps a real good eye and creates a book
It looks light, but mine probably
on
didn't.
the rocks.
Yeah, approximately 44 pounds of granite, and they can't all be
I
absolutely
don't think it's
identical.
4
So
foot, is it?
little nuances.
In the end, they're rocks.
Yeah, well, it's coming down nicely here.
Just
That's-
a little light because he's not frozen. So that
I think
is,
just
it's
back line. It's
possible.
almost
But in
just
front of the
barely
tee
more
line,
than
he's
that.
sticking
Yeah.
out about half a rock.
Yeah, from the hack.
It looks like
Where did I
he's
This
going
is
to
a
show it?
makeable for a deuce now for Slushinski.
Yeah, we're going to chase that and just pick it out.
Yeah,
They'll-
he doesn't
they'll
have
be able to carve
to,
it
I'd say
too a little, but-
back 4 weight.
Yeah, you don't need
Keep it
crazy
in
weight.
control of sweepers. Just need to tap it nominally.
Oh yeah, just 2 feet will be all you need. Yeah.
It's getting faster and
I would
faster.
say even less.
Like
If he
mine
hits
was
it on the
4.7
side, he's
and
only got to
theirs
tap
was
it about a
15.4.
foot.
Just back line.
Not even. The width of a
Okay.
rock.
Yeah, I like that.
But certainly the shooter's got to stay around.
Well, we got to move it 2
Yeah.
feet.
There you go, 2 feet. So they agree with you.
There we are. 60 centimeters if you want to go metric.
There you go. It's unlikely he can get to nose. So as long as he gets by that guard, he's
I
got
like
a
the
good
weight.
shot at 2.
The line's looking good here.
Sweepers like the weight. Once again, a much tighter
Ooh.
line. High rotation rock. They
Well,
look like they're a little light.
That's really moving, isn't
A
it?
little light.
Oh, an unforced
just that
error.
tighter path was that much slower.
There you go.
Well, there's
Like I was definitely more weight.
an example of how one or two little mistakes can really turn an end around.
coming in like
Went from a
that
good
rock.
chance for Schluchter to take 2 to giving up 1 on a steal by Park.
I just thought with all the brushes there would have been close.
조금 더 기다려줄게.
Now you're hearing Owen that both teams are sort of discussing where they went wrong at certain points of that end and
Yeah.
looking to regroup for the second end. We got Park
It's
up
all watching that end. It was
Park
like
up 1-0 after one
not
end
very many
on a
mates.
steal.
We can afford to be like a little out on everything now.
Yeah,
Kind of our normal relief.
yeah, I think so.
Plus side of being shot.
일단 좀 줄이긴 할게.
You get your rock in there, you can't control your opposition, but if you're shot,
확인 좀 해야 될 것 같아.
they have to make a shot to change the situation.
Well, and certainly the pressure's on. You're sitting in the hack. It's the last rock at the end, and you've got to make it, or else
Yep.
they score, and it's only your second rock of the entire game. So, yeah, it's a good start. Good start for Park, but I'm sure
Long way to go.
Slushinski will look at correcting a few of their errors and coming back strong in the second end.
While we begin the second end here, we've gone through some of the title sponsors, game sponsors. We'll now give you some of the team sponsors. So, for Team Slushinski, Stein Energy, NLSS, Big
수라 라인
Gun,
많이 타이트하다.
Sunday Golf Course,
수라 라인
Clubhouse
잡아야 돼.
Golf
라인 잡아야
Academy,
돼.
Hardline, Dynasty, RSM
라인
Canada,
잡아야 돼.
and Kelly Turner Red.
Red, white, red.
Red white on the Korean team. Park
이게 핸들이
sponsors for the
지금
team
핸들
are
넘겨야 돼.
Hardline and Korean Basic Balance.
And I know those teams are certainly thankful for their sponsors. That makes it able them to travel and to come out and compete in events like this.
Who knew curling would become like NASCAR?
Yeah,
Covered in, if you look around the club, the walls are covered in ads. The ice is covered in ads.
Line's good.
well, I know
Teams are
yeah.
covered in ads.
And I know when you and I speak as members of the Penticton Curling Club, without our generous sponsors, the whole curling function, much less this very prestigious event, wouldn't be possible. So we're very, very
Perfect.
thankful
Good shot.
for our club sponsors and the sponsors for the 2023 New Fours Curling Classic here in beautiful downtown Penticton.
That and a shout out to the volunteers. None of these events happen without the sponsors or the volunteers. There's probably over 100 people that have contributed time, energy, and
You figure
skills.
around, you figure around 100. Another town visitor here watching, I sat at the table having lunch, and they asked me how many volunteers. I said, gosh, I don't know, but it's got to be 100, I would guess. Because
There you go. So,
I mean, this thing goes from Thursday to Monday, and
yep. We got people on the parking lot, people on the front door. We've got a crew out of the local high school covering the kitchen, running a little snack shop. We got the camera people, commentators.
people helping on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, volunteer ice crew. So yeah, it's the nature of curling across Canada. It's a tradition, and it's run by the people for the people. Classic community effort.
So Park has planted one right on the, more or less on the lid. And Slushinski's coming down looking to take it, and I'd imagine hope to roll a bit to the right to come behind cover.
Yeah, actually, I believe he's ignoring it, and he's just going to try and come around his corner guard. Since that one on the button is wide open, a lot of the top-level teams love the corner guards. I like to see that they've put it up and they're using it.
Oh, beautiful shot. Just squeaked her by, yeah.
Yeah, so now we're seeing some shots. They're starting to figure the ice out.
And you're right, at this level, one on the button doesn't cause panic at all. It's sitting out there in the open for later.
Yeah, you and I at the club level, we can see it. We're getting rid of it right now.
Oh, yeah. Woohoo! Yeah.
Our teams don't have the skills, and we don't look 4 or 5 rocks ahead because more often than not, our support teammates don't make the shot we wanted anyways. So play them where they lie. But these guys, they have the skills. They're setting up for 2 or 3 shots down the road.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching high-level curling on the TV, and I'm going like, why would you go after that one? And like
4 rocks later, you find out.
They had a plan, and they executed it.
Here we see a little struggling. Are they going to be able to curl enough, or are they going to leave a port?
Oh, I think they got it
Is
just
there a
perfectly.
port? Oh, I'm going to debate you. I think
yeah,
there's a
no,
port
you're right.
there.
Looking at the camera here.
You can come in from the left side with an out turn.
Yeah, we're just looking now on at the view that our viewers at home are looking at, and there certainly is a big gap. From just
a big gap for them. That's a tight port for us on a club night.
Sitting up
but it is there.
And the camera certainly gives us a bit of a better look than where we are looking through the windows.
Initially, he looks a little bit tight.
Ooh, I think he is too.
But now it's running pretty straight. Now they're trying to make a curl.
Is he past the guard?
Can they make it curl enough?
Oh.
No.
Well, he's nothing else. He's opened the hole a bit wider, but
yeah. Well, I'm gonna guess that hole is gonna get plugged right now. That was an opportunity rock. Opportunity lost.
Again, another little miss. But
it is early. The first time coming this way.
Yeah.
Initially, they were sweeping it to hold it straight, and then they realized no. So they're still learning that line.
Yeah.
You give them that shot again in the later end, I think they'd make it.
And certainly, as our viewers are watching us online here that do curl, they know that the ice changes constantly from the very first rock to the last rock. So that's the skill of these guys, the skips and the sweepers, is to
I'm going to call this an interesting shot selection. He's going for the raised double rather than plug up the hole.
Yeah, that's I would have guessed plugging the hole would have been the shot. But
he's kind of switched from offense to defense, even though he has the opportunity to keep offense going. So I got to say, I don't like that call.
No, I would have put one up right on the G of the New Floors Curling Classic logo there, or somewhere in that
keep
area.
The pressure on.
Yeah.
Now, effectively, if everybody makes their shots, he's conceding a deuce that he didn't really need to do. So, a little bit curious, but
yeah, if he'd thrown the guard up there, I mean,
what's
Slushinski would have had to chase the guards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Clean.
I will point out every strategy and shot selection is valid. It comes down to execution. And very often it's just a matter of opinion. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Nice hit. They get a little roll, but they are visible through that hole still as well.
Oh, yeah, they can see the entirety of it. So
initially, the park skip has indicated a double coming off the outside red.
They had to roll that way. Any nose or roll that way was just like on that
and these guys is just
really
fast. There's no way club teams going after this double when they can see that one wide open in the middle. So that's a classic example of the different ways they look at the game.
We've seen a fair number of misses already this match, so it'll be interesting to see if they can execute this, because you're right. There's plan execution, but without the execution, the plan doesn't mean too much.
That's right.
오. 클린. 얍. 오. 오. 얍. 얍.
It's over.
어준아.
So they'll get a little roll, but not enough for the double.
Nope, not even close yet.
But if you're not getting the double, that's a pretty good roll.
Yeah, it's a good.
Effectively behind cover. A little bit poking out.
I'd like to call it a good miss or a good plan B.
Sure.
We try to nose or this.
I basically based my entire curling career on plan B, so and C and D.
There you go. Okay, so
Forward.
on the view, you can see half a rock visible from the hack. Very makeable.
Oh yeah, half or even.
Remove the rock
more,
and
yeah.
roll over and lay two. Still early, but there's still a deuce on the table for Slushinski.
Clean. Clean. Clean.
They seem quite happy with this rock.
Whoa,
The
whoa, whoa.
Sweepers have just started putting a
Clean.
little rush
Yep.
to it.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Okay.
It's not the roll they were after, but it
No.
is a good roll because they're lined up pretty straight. Tough to get rid of both of them.
Yeah, you'll move one, but you certainly won't get two unless you
Yeah.
somehow hit with
If
some
you
high
came
weight
through.
angle. Yeah.
Super peel weight, you hit the right spot, you could get rid of both, but it demands a
Big.
precise big weight shot.
Yeah, you don't see any more these days, whether it's even at the club level or the international levels on television. You don't see a lot of those ridiculously high weights you used to see back in the day.
Not as much as we used to.
The
Not
missile,
in
yeah.
the Wayne Middaugh era,
Yeah.
we'll call it. They still have them. They should still use them occasionally, but they have gone down to the
준아 와야 돼.
Control take.
hack weight,
Yeah.
the back line weight.
어준아 어준아.
Oh, they're on. The,
Oops.
Oh.
Oops.
oh, more than oops. So now they've
Big
rolled.
mistake with a little bit of a lucky wick.
Well, unlucky in the way that they rolled the blue one in front there. It's
Well, it's going to interfere with Slushinski's plan now.
what were you doing? Would you split the house or put a top 12 guard?
What?
Well,
I guess
I think I'd put
I don't like a guard.
See, he doesn't like a guard. I'd put up a guard. If you don't put up a guard, they're going to run that back. That's an easy run back.
Guard's good if you straight guard this.
There you go.
Certainly looking at
That's
the
the
monitor.
one I would suggest. His other
Yeah.
option is to
Kinda
put
like
one in
that.
the wings, or what he just indicated.
Yeah,
Lay three, make them make a double.
that's gonna be a tough double. Those rocks they're not welded together, but they're quite close.
Well, I know Mr. Tardy or Mr. Cooey would be able to do that if it was wide open. So I'm pretty sure that Mr. Park's team would have the skills for
Yeah.
that.
What about this? Because if you're too high,
So now
he
they're
has
talking maybe a
this,
corner freeze on
or
the.
if you leave this
blue
piece
rock.
open, he rips that. Now he has two centers. The freeze, and if you come up like a little short, it's fine.
Well, as I mentioned,
And even if you
Slushinski,
chop
he's
off, it's,
an
like,
Alberta
it's not a
champion
disaster. It's almost the same as drawing.
in various
like,
categories and has been curling very
kinda
well
like that.
against the top curlers
he can't
in the
do
world
anything
this
with that.
year. So we're not going to question. He knows his team. He knows what he likes. He knows the risks, the rewards. He has a number of options here, all valid.
Well, that's exactly it. They're just discussing the options, and you can hear them talking in their discussion. Is okay if we do this, they'll do that, then we do this. So they're they're planning 2 and 3 shots ahead. It's
Yeah,
a little more like chess and less like checkers, I guess.
yeah, I would agree. He's chosen a shot here that he explained has a few upsides. So obviously he
Line's
felt
tight.
it's the best selection.
Where?
Many options. So they're trying for a corner freeze.
Top 8. Curl.
Starting to
On
come
the
down
top.
Curl.
Park rock.
Curl. Hey, straight.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
Straight. Go by everything.
out.
Hard.
Now they're going to try to take it by.
Yeah.
Deep as it goes. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Now they need to get it out of the way.
That's fine.
Well, that little jiggle, that little rub straightened up the
14 and a half.
1 and 2 shot. So now it is tougher to get them double out of there.
Yeah, looking
That's
On
here,
actually a good
angles.
spot.
looking here
Yeah,
at the
you lined
monitor,
it up-
and they're
you lined it up
just
better.
dead straight in a row now. So
Yeah. But the run back is the call, and at least one Slushinski rock should be leaving the rings. If they hit it
Yeah, the
dead,
freeze
dead
was,
right,
The freeze was really good. All he
the
could do,
impacted
the
rock
freeze
should
ever
just
was
end up
nose
almost
it probably,
glued
or-
to shot rock when it's all said and done.
yeah, you're throwing the big weight. It's always interesting to see how it all comes. You can't quite predict the exact outcome.
Yeah, 14 and a half.
Very
and
interesting.
It was back 8.
We'll go with the general outcome. Outcome is some granite's going to move here.
Yeah, rocks are going places.
There's going to be some high impact.
He's probably trying to nose it and blast, but we should watch our
The,
top one and try to get it as far as we can over to the wall.
I'll watch the blue, you watch the red.
Okay, sounds good.
Here comes the big weight.
It's a little narrow. It's a little tight.
Ooh, doggy.
Whoa.
Well, there's a major disappointment and a huge
That's
miss.
a big miss.
That was
big
the
miss.
first of the skip rocks. Well, Slushinski's certainly the driver's seat now, aren't they, Owen?
Yeah, it's hard
Well, it
for
shows
him.
you never know. We highly anticipated some granite moving, and really,
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
nothing
We
happened
got to
with,
be higher than
with the
that.
Slushinski rocks. Not at all.
Not
It felt the
lower.
breeze
'Cause then you can
going
make a
by,
throw.
but that's about it.
Anywhere higher on either side.
Chance
probably
to
this
lay
side.
4.
Whichever side, you know.
Nowhere to
Yeah, we
hide.
did throw that side. Yeah, you could go right here.
So I would say a deuce is really on play here.
Yeah, but he wouldn't off that
And
side.
they look at it
Missed
sort of
her.
splitting the house, putting one in the 12-foot on
Sure.
either left or right side.
Yeah,
Going to be a big pressure on Mr. Park to remove multiple rocks on his final rock of
14
this,
and a
the
half?
second end.
yeah. Should be a pretty fresh spot.
Probably close to this spot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So
'cause,
looking for a full
I mean, we've
12-foot
thrown
over on.
center, so it should run
our
on a
left
good
side as we're
line
looking at
until
here from
about
the-
Yeah.
2/3 of the way down. Then,
Anticipating they make it, I'm just looking what
Is there any way we
Yeah.
can go to this side?
but
What
then he's
could
going to play
Park
off
do?
it, and he gets to go
could
right
sort
into
of
the
put the
junk.
game on the
Or if he
line and
plays off
freeze
this
this
side,
back
it's just a nose hit for free
third
throw,
rock.
always.
which would leave him line
Yeah.
second shot.
We
But
want
the
to
freeze
try to
would have
stay
to be
higher than
perfect.
those two. Well,
So
triple.
more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
likely he's going to try to remove 2 or 3.
Cut down the
And
mess.
if he
yeah.
does, I would say at this point a success would be limiting to Slushinski to a deuce, but more than likely I'd say Mr. Slushinski's going to get at least 3 out of this end.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
any sort of error from Park, it could be a
Whoa.
3-4 sort of thing. So
Yeah.
disaster. Not how you want to end up at end of 2. Oh, this one's
Oh,
quite heavy.
Another unforced error.
wow. That's beyond unforced.
Yeah,
Look at that thing. That thing was. They didn't put a broom to it. It was hack weight,
yeah.
and they're looking for top 12. That's a miss of what 10, 12 feet.
A little lesson for those of you who like to make sports betting wagers. You never really know what's going to happen.
No,
We've been wrong on it all. I've been wrong on about 5 predictions, and this game's only in the second end. So teams are struggling with line, struggling with weight. Made things a lot simpler. I was curious if
Weird,
with
'cause I thought
drag
it was flying
effect,
too slow. I was gonna
if he
add
hits
it,
the
and
right
I'm like,
spot,
let's
could he
use the
get all
sleepers.
3?
So I
So
didn't
we're
add
about
it.
to find
look
out.
at there. If
If I
you
added
look
it,
on the
it
overhead though,
would've
there's
just, like, bounced
not a
off
lot
the
of
board.
gap. I mean,
Right, so the drag effect comes into play.
Yeah.
That's why.
they're not frozen, so there's.
If he hits it hard, about half a rock on the left side, he might be able to get rid of all of them.
Yeah, here,
That's what he's aiming for.
yeah, here it comes. Big weight on it. Something's going to move.
Nope. Drag didn't work. So
Well.
there's the deuce we talked about. As
Draw.
long as he can have.
That's
Well,
right,
now he's changing his line. He's going to use the backing after his first error.
Well, yeah, that first one it was
Yeah.
10, 12 feet too long, so it wasn't even close. So
15.
근데 이거 엑스트라 많이 줬어. 그래서
I know people always find it funny, but generally curling sheets will be faster one way than the other way, which sort of in your head doesn't make sense, but I've called the sheet now. This is my third game in the sheet, and coming to the home end always seems to be a little bit quicker than going to the away side.
This doesn't look light.
I think it's all there. They're just giving a light brushing up.
Yeah. He made the adjustment.
Yeah. Got it dialed in. All right, so at the end of 2 ends, Slushinski is up 2-1 over Park at the 2023 New Forest Curling Classic, coming to you from beautiful downtown Penticton.
We'll take this opportunity. Some of the second-tier sponsors of the event. City of Penticton, Grayback Construction, Yellow Dog Brewing, Regency, Southwood Retirement, 4 Points by Sheraton.
Yeah, we've kind of played to everywhere.
And Interior
Like the
Roofing,
intern-
Edward Jones. They're making sense of your investment.
Yeah, like the intern.
Lithica Wine Marketing,
Okay.
Grizzly Excavating Limited, and Players Tours. We thank you all very much for your sponsorship. Sponsorships at all levels are so important to put on this event, and without your support, we certainly wouldn't be able to stage this very prestigious event here in Penticton.
We'll keep plodding along. Cool Bet, Cannery Brewing, Copper Mug Pub, and I know they host a pre-event to feed the players and thank some of the volunteers. Tim Hortons, Grim Sausage.
And we'll got a couple lines to go. We'll bring them up a little bit later on as we kept our first shot here in the third end. Slushinski up 2-1. Bit of a back and forth rock and roll end on the second.
And while this end is getting underway, we'll give you an update across the sheets. No great big ends anywhere. Over on sheet A, we see Nobert opened with a single, so they have a 1-0 lead over Kleider. Sheet B, Husley out of Switzerland is down 2-0 to Kolomaya, another BC team. Sheet D, Botcher. Oh, there is the one big opener.
Oh, there we are, yeah.
4-0 after one over Sturmey. Robillard, another BC team, taking on the local ice maker. Robillard got one in the first for a 1-0 lead. And over on the wall sheet, sheet F, Mr. Mike McEwen, a 1-0 lead over Blesser.
And continue down some of our sponsors. We have Parker Motors here in Penticton, the Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer. Canadian Tires, Slackwater Brewing, RPR, Heating and Air Conditioning, and the Neighborhood Brewing. Visit Penticton, Complete Storage Centers, Brent View Developments, and Booster Juice. Thank you all very, very much for your sponsorship.
I'll just throw a little aside. I'm not surprised about Booster Juice. I've seen more Booster Juice cups kicking around this event, so.
Yeah, I noticed when I came in first thing this morning, just about every second or third person had a great big Booster Juice cup. So
some of the younger teams seem to like the Booster Juice. I guess they can still handle the sugar.
Yeah.
Whether it be sucrose or fructose.
For me, it was 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah, I'll take the coffee jolt over the sugar jolt.
So there's the draw right smack dab on the button. A turkey.
Yeah, it's lovely draw right on the pin. Perfectly behind a perfect center, tight center guard. So.
Yeah, they really had the weight dialed in on that one.
Yeah. So we see this Slushinski team, at least front end, settling down, throwing them much better than that first end.
Park looking to come down and sit right on top of their rock.
They're taking such a lot more ice than the Slushinski team. So a definite. Definitely different styles, different releases. Both have a high rotation, but I would say the Slushinski team has an extremely high number of rotations on their rocks.
They all seem to be that way.
For you club curlers out there, most of us learned old school. We might have 2 to 3 rotations. So in the modern day, the sharp rocks, it has definitely evolved. You need 5 to 6 rotations for stability. And the other interesting thing is the rock will glide further. So if you do change your delivery and add those rotations, you have to be aware you also have to adjust your weight. They just glide a little easier. Nobody knows the science on this. University of Edmonton's done all kinds of research. It's one of the modern mysteries of physics is why a curling rock curls as it does, the direction it does. Their study opens and it points out that if you slide a beer glass along a bar counter and throw some rotation on it, it will curl the opposite way that a curling rock does. So the mystery begins right there. In the end, it doesn't really matter why.
So you're saying with your homemade experiment, someone the mystery started down at the pub.
Apparently,
hucking glasses down the bar.
I guess it's not that surprising. There's a pub reference in the research document to do with curling. We do know that the original funding source of every curling club across the land was the bar.
I'll tell you, the Penticton Curling Club, our entire rack of draft beer is nothing but the craft brews from the local breweries here in town. So it's one of the best clubs. I'm a beer guy, and I tell you, one of the best clubs I've ever seen for the assortment of very, very good beer. Look at the run back.
A little bit of overcurl removes the guard, but doesn't get the run back they were hoping for. And we'll put a plug in for Penticton in general. So it's in the heart of the Okanagan. I think everybody at this point knows it's wine country. So for your brew reference, in the last 5-6 years, we've seen the expansion into the ales and the advent of cannery brewing and the like. And now it's beer and wine anywhere you want, good local craft stuff, your darker ales, the beers you can chew on, as they say, as opposed to the mainstream lagers that we all grew up on, the Molson Canadians and the Kokanees. So now you can come up to the Okanagan, have a good time in the summer, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the wine, enjoy the beer. So there's a good vibrancy and a good change going on as Penticton evolves as a world-class tourist destination.
Yeah, we really have become a four-season playground too. Travel Penticton's worked hard over the last decade or so in developing shoulder markets and the winter markets. So we're great screen, and I know the fall time, I drive wine tour buses, my little retirement job, and we're getting more and more people come up in the third week of September, early October. It's still sunny and warm and great. All right, so Slushinski's looking to come down and just draw right into the pile there.
Knife it.
Put that guard right back up.
Yep, sorry.
Put that guard right back up.
One was just taken out.
That's good that it's tight. I just feel like if we're kind of on that line and a little
So they got their deuce, and now they're curling with confidence. They're controlling this end.
I don't know.
They're making their shots where they want them. Park's team still struggling a little bit. Just a little bit of struggling with line.
I haven't seen Park play yet this event, but you'd have to look by the ranking of their points that they're a very capable team. But you're right, Owen. They just haven't seemed to have got their groove yet.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
They made their adjustment.
Yeah.
Got a little unlucky on the dead nut, but I'm sure they're happy they hit close to the spot they wanted.
Yeah, it's probably as good as you could expect in reality, as the rocks were fairly close together, but they sort of move things around a bit too. So.
They're definitely leaning towards the high weight hit shots so far, more than the draw weight game. The Slushinski team tending to be playing more of a draw weight game, so a bit of a clash of styles.
Certainly is. It seems over the years watching high-level curling on television and such that that real precise draw weight, big curl shots seem to be more common than the hit game. So.
Trying to put up a high guard here.
You gotta get it over.
Flirting with the hog line.
Oh, they're working this one, aren't they?
They're giving it everything they got. Wasn't overthrown.
Hard. Keep going.
There you go. They're going to make it.
Good sweep.
And the net result is a great shot.
Now on at this level, if you hog a rock, you have to still buy a round of beer? Or is that universal at all levels in curling? Or
There's curling rules, there's curling traditions. Some of these are international. I'm not sure they know all the traditions, plus they're modern. In recent years, the association with curling and alcohol is kind of not what it once was. Oh,
run back with the guard?
long run back. Kind of missed what they wanted, but did get something out of the ring. So a half make there.
Yeah, and they certainly, their shot rock has moved off the center, so it's.
However,
Slushinski's going to have to
they did
replace
leave the
guard.
one. He's going to replace the guard, and they're going to be solidly in behind 3 guards if they can make this. So
Yeah.
it's going to be an uphill battle here for Park to get a couple. They're going to have to make some good raised doubles at some point.
It seems, the third end. Oh, it seems really early.
Just
But
bite
you
center.
get down by too many at the end of the third. It's a tough road to come back against a strong team.
Well, psychologically too, it's
just
kind
over
of kills
and
your
off.
confidence if you're chasing all game.
Yeah, and you feel the pressure that scoring one isn't sufficient.
good.
You need 2 or 3, and
Yeah, and that changes your strategy, and you tend to throw more risk in. So
yeah, risk and reward come a big factor. And then
Yeah.
if you miss that, then you compound your problems. Yeah.
here we go.
이거 바로 치는 건 힘들지?
He,
all right.
he wants to.
They don't have much.
He
there.
wants to move shot
아니
rock.
탑
If they
버튼.
cap it.
Not easy, but it is. You can see an inch of it from the hack, so we know it can be
여기는
moved.
괜찮아.
Just
Yeah, looking at the monitor down the same view that our viewers at home are looking at, and boy,
really,
there's an
really
eighth of a rock
skinny, though.
poking out there. Not a lot.
I wouldn't give it even an 8.
Eighth.
that might be there right now.
Yeah, it's not much.
Have to throw
So
it
in the
off.
end, Mr. Park, he indicated he decided let's go for the freeze. At first he wanted to tap it back a bit, but he realizes that's a lot of risk because if he's a little bit out, you get nothing out of it.
Yeah, you're starting to run out of
He
rock.
wants to stay in front of that, so he wisely, I would say, chose
Yeah.
the straight freeze.
And this is Young throwing the last of the
Perfect
third
to
rocks.
get fully buried top 12.
Line looks good, weight looks good.
라인 좋아.
Yeah,
라인
to
좋아.
try
라인
to,
끊어줘.
the original thought to tap that.
Curling
여섯
early,
좋아, 여섯 좋아.
so it really is curling on that side.
야 라인 좋아. 라인 치러 쏘라. 라인 좋아. 오.
So he's got room,
And then
weight
sit
looks
on the-
good. Looks a little heavy, so he's going to get a little tap here.
Tap after all, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, fortunately, their shot rock going has just popped right out into the open. And
There you can
Easy
see
pickings.
from the overhead, you can see the ring of where that red rock was
Yeah.
because it sat there long enough. And that tells you part of the speed of this ice is the ice is quite warm.
yeah,
Right at the top level
Seems
of
like
its
everybody's
warmth.
just been moving
So
here.
that's what that ring shows up. That
Yeah.
rock sat there for about
Yeah.
5 minutes maybe.
yeah.
차라리 정타
moved it
치고
over,
쏘았으면
just
좋겠다.
half a
아니면
rock
우리가 지금
over.
일본을
Yeah,
뺄 수 있는
that's
rock.
a small miss.
Yeah.
That little bounce, and that makes them
Halfway.
removable.
Yeah,
Perfect freeze, he wasn't removable.
가도
So
앞에 가도
just a
없어도
small error.
You guys
Couple
like
of a
that ice?
curler would be pretty proud of that shot and be happy, felt successful.
Yeah. Okay.
At this level, just that little bit of extra weight.
yeah. It's left the park rock, the last of the third
Exposed.
rocks. Oh, just hanging right out there. And you see by the weight that Slushinski's indicating they're just going to throw a nice control takeout at
Yep.
it.
Well, this is a big opportunity. If he can get across the face of this
Oh yeah.
and roll under, he's going to be golden. And he's too soft. Too soft, too light.
Wow.
Are they holding it? Oh, they did hold it.
Oh,
Great
wow.
sweeping job. Gets the roll inside.
Tremendous.
And we have trouble in River City for
Oh,
Team
we
Park
do.
at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's only the third end, but it's looking not looking so good.
Well, he made a choice. He could have kept working the
Really
front
rolling,
and
but it was more
removing
of a straight throw through.
one or two of those guards, but he decided, no, I'm going to go for it. And that's that critical. Just their rock was a foot too heavy. That's just it, folks. A 1 foot too heavy. Bounced off, exposed themselves. Slushinski takes advantage.
사이에 끼면 될것
And
같아.
now they have total control of this end.
Block the end though. You give them the
Yeah,
perfect
Here we go.
to
It certainly
make
seems a bit early to go that
line.
aggressive in the game, but
Yeah.
they've made their decision to deliver it now.
I
But
wouldn't want to draw. Against
Here's
that.
one of his outs. He's
Curling
going to
so
come
much.
in off his own on the right-hand side.
아웃 오는 데 지금
So the first of the skip
Try
rocks.
what we call an in-off takeout.
맞는데 찍고
We can anticipate some pretty big heat on this.
그냥
That's a-
필로 하고
That's a tough
핸들을
shot,
좀
Owen.
깊게
There's a
잘
lot of
It's a
angle.
tough shot.
Geometry going on here.
그냥 하는 대로 할게.
But when you make them, they're
That
spectacular.
one's deeper.
Yeah, they look good, and they
Yeah,
Because he
and these
pushed
guys
it
have the
back,
skills,
yeah.
so he's got, I'd say, a 50% chance of
more natural.
executing
it's like a
this.
half rock.
what do they
He's
call
got a-
these?
아, 근데
Well, they
이게
call
in-off.
these-
다
Yeah,
내
no,
샷이
but it's a
넘어가면
hero
안
bump play.
되면은
Either you're hero or you're
Well,
bum.
yeah.
There's no,
Straight into
like, you
the
don't
back
partially
line.
make
I
a
think
shot
I
like
can
this.
nose it.
그러니까
Many
you-
expressions,
you-
all or nothing.
Yeah, it's a do or don't.
Now, he does have a wider target. He's not just after one, so he's got a
Yeah,
target
only
that's
where
about
he's
3
waiting high
rocks
is if
wide
he
because you
hits the top and
you
kinda
can't
spins
go in
under our
between
other
them.
one.
So
If
his
you
end target is bigger than usual, and that does increase the percentage that he's going to get one of them.
Certainly, and if he only gets one, hopefully it's the top one for them.
어,
Oh, I think
He's
overcurled.
pretty close.
He's coming across.
He's pretty close.
Up the
And he
back.
does get one, and he shot
Oh,
rock.
look at that, eh?
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. High-level curling,
아, 이제
folks.
보인다 지금.
You won't see that
It's not
attempted
very
or
open,
made
though.
in a
Looks
club
like it's
game
like
very
just
often.
Whatever's showing on the other side of center.
Well, you see it tempted when
살짝
you're absolutely
튀어가지고
desperate. There's nothing else that you go sort of the Hail Mary,
I'm saying,
but
like, control.
most of the time it's not made at the club level. But yeah, that was a beautiful shot.
Okay. However, Slushinski does have an out.
들어 스파 생겨서 괜찮아.
He has a quarter rock view of his
Control
own.
weight.
If he can get to it, Mr. Park's rock will be leaving, and there'll be more pressure again on Mr. Park's final rock.
First of the skip stones for Slushinski. Yeah, there's looking just a.
No, this is be his second. This is the last.
sorry.
Yeah, we're down to 2 rocks.
Oh yes, so that the last,
Park has hammers.
the last of the stones for Slushinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Whoa,
a
whoa.
little,
Yep.
just
Hard.
a nick is all they need
Hard.
to move that Park stone.
Curling early. They're working hard. I don't think they're getting by.
The racks in the front.
They're not getting by.
Oh, that's too bad.
He's nabbed himself twice on that line. He's
Yeah,
just
it's
not
just been tight.
either he's not
way
believing
better
in the
throw.
curl or physically he's just a little tighter
I like
than
that
he's
throw way
planning
better
on.
than the last one I made.
I mean, they
yeah,
had,
yeah.
I think they had the right ice on it, and
Well, I heard him say, he says, well, the last one they worked it and got it by.
yeah. But I mean, that was, frankly, at
Yeah.
this level, you have to count
So-
that as not even close. Yeah.
Could be a difference in the rocks. Could be just a slight
4.4 나게
error on the release.
I think that 3 straight and fast.
Because I mean, it certainly wasn't a little tick. It was a quite a
Yeah.
major crash on the guard.
No, I anticipated them making that, so they weren't even really close. So that particular line he seems to be struggling on. So here we see an opportunity to get a deuce right back, despite the way the end went. And all of a sudden,
If those were the same rock, I make
pretty
this
straightforward
whole
deuce. Most skips
Should
should
make
be
this.
able to draw the 4-foot on demand. So
Well, really, all 3 ends we've been watching, and have really been back and forth. It looks like
Yep.
somebody's got the upper hand, and then they make an error, and the other guys get the upper hand, and then they make an error. So it's really been back and forth. So it'll be interesting to see if things calm down a bit more in the 4th end. Final rock,
No, they're not
the
even
3rd
close.
end. The blue Park stone
sweepers
coming
seem
down.
to like it.
And even
One
the
sweeper
next
doesn't
end,
want
like,
to sweep.
I threw
The other
those
sweeper
2
seems to
shots
think it
almost
needs
the
it.
same.
Oh, now, okay, now they're
One goes
both
in
going
the
at
It
it
is
pretty hard.
coming down
Sweeper.
hard. It's over curling.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, it's
only-
going to rack onto the red one
So
if it even
I'm
gets
going
there.
to guess different lines have different speeds
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the sweepers really misjudged that.
All right, so one blue for the Park team. So we've tied up after 3 ends at 2-2. Despite sort of the scoreboard doesn't really quite tell the game, does it, Owen? I mean, the scoreboard looks like a real tight, controlled game, but really it's just been a game of who's made more misses at this point.
Yeah.
Mine aren't even close.
Well, it's like my golf card score. You make some fluky
많이 든 것 같은데.
birdie. My friends always say, hey, there's no pictures on the scorecard.
That 3 has
you go.
run a mile every single shot. I've
More
thrown.
quick updates. Sheet A, Kleider answered with a deuce, a 2-1
Like,
over
those 3 rocks
Nobert.
aren't even close.
Kolomaya starting to run away with it on sheet B over Hosley, the Swiss team. They're up 5-0.
I don't know which
Opened
one's
with a
normal.
deuce, stole a deuce, stole another single.
Or could just grind.
We, of course, are 3-2, or no,
계속
You
아무
only
생각
got the
계속
single, so we're all tied
So
up
that would
here.
just be a slow rock. And that's
2
the one I
all.
threw for all my
Slushinski
draws
with
in
hammer
the
sheet
Good
D,
defense.
Botcher.
game, yeah.
An easy lead, 6-0 after 2.
Yeah.
Robillard,
Okay.
4-0
you
after
guys-
2.
그리고 여기 무슨 칼날이 칼
And
Let's just
McEwen,
hope that the
3-0
four is
after
slow
2.
and maybe cut
So
it.
we got the only, or
seems
one of the
slow for
few
sure.
tight games out here. So that's nice. It's always
Way
good when
slower
it's a
than
tight
three
one.
anyways.
Yeah,
Yes, the other tight one is over
Yeah,
there,
could be,
Shide,
yeah.
Kleider, and Nobert.
Yeah, certainly looks like B, D, and E could be early handshake situations the way it's going. Botcher has taken a commanding lead. 6-0 after 2 ends
Which is a bit surprising because they're not playing a slouch. That's Sturme. He's on the pro circuit, a very accomplished curler out of Alberta, I believe. And
yeah,
just,
I called the game yesterday with Sturme, and they played a very, very nice game.
there you go. So that would be the surprise, most
수고나 이거 많이
surprising one.
돈다 이거.
It's not that surprising that
많이
local
돌았습니다.
ice maker team is getting a little behind the
아니,
Robillard.
아니,
Robillard's
많이
a
돌아,
regular
많이
on the BC Pro circuit. I believe he's a BC
이렇게
mixed
던지 돌이 파악이 안
champion.
돼.
Hey, the
Yeah.
Penticton guys are
지훈아,
regular on
이래가지고
the Tuesday night
돌파하기 안 돼.
circuit here in town.
There you go. There you go.
돌파하기 안
But
된다고.
just
아니야.
handicapping it,
내가
you
앉아서
know,
봤잖아,
it's
이번에.
a club level team
안쪽으로
versus
많은 거야,
a
이거는. 더
pro
줘야-
level
더 줘야 돼,
team.
확실하게.
So not that
그래
surprising.
내가 돌파를
I
할 수
was
있어.
talking to Steve Collier from the Jones team from here in Penticton last night. They took a bit of a hiding and it only went 4 games. But he said it's just so neat playing with these guys and watching the shots they call and their execution and
Huh?
the communication between the sweepers. He said it's just a whole other level. And I know Steve. I curled with him a couple of
It
years when he
ran
first
pretty
arrived
good here last
You know,
time.
he's curled at a very high level in juniors in Ontario before he moved out here, and he says it's just like he said you really can't describe it.
Good shot. You feel like that one?
Yeah,
ran
when
like
that
all
game
the
was
others?
on, I had to look over and I saw Botcher throw 2 shots in a row. So one was an in-off to prepare for a final shot because they had nothing. So his in-off rolled where he wanted. Then he did another in-off on his last rock and promoted the one he had placed on his first in-off and spit Jones out, and it's spectacular. So
어디야?
the setup shot was
여기.
spectacular, followed by the finishing shot that was
여기서 가,
spectacular.
여기서
So
라인 좋아요.
Yeah, I
agree with you. Different level.
Oh yeah, Chris Jones is
Absolutely
standing
different
going.
level.
Chris Jones is standing
그래서
going.
그냥
Like, what can I do?
How do you fight the forces of evil like this?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, certainly not evil. Certainly the forces of great curling.
Yeah.
All right, so Park has
4초.
come in behind the guard. They've poked out a little bit on the far side. Slushinski's calling for come in behind their own rock.
He likes that corner guard,
Yeah.
and he likes to use it.
Well, that's sort of the old traditional. If you had the hammer, you threw corner guards, and if you didn't have the hammer, you threw a center guard.
Yeah, and that still
Stands.
stands.
Curl.
Like a lot of weight, doesn't it?
Curl.
Yeah, and they're just not getting the curl.
Yeah.
Trying to
Keep the
put a
speed
bit
going.
of directional curling on it, but it's going to be behind the tee line.
Keep going. Keep going.
Now they
keep
want to try
going.
to get as deep as they can, of course.
They almost got it out of sight, but the fact it's
4.5.
past the tee line is not really an advantage.
Oh yeah, and it's too
Team
rock.
Korea can either tap it out or even freeze it and negate it.
Yeah, that's like a full 2 rocks or more behind the tee line. So, but they intentionally took it deep because last thing you want is it just behind the tee line. Provide backing for your opposition.
I would say the swinging back and forth of control is continuing here. Park is better set up initially in this end. They've got their own well buried, biting the forefoot. The deep mistake here by Slushinski.
Yep.
Oh, they're way much tighter on their line.
Oh yeah, no, they're going
Much
to.
tighter on their line. Once you cross that center line, they just tend to
계속
warp.
해야 돼.
Are they going to
계속
get
해야 돼.
by?
No, not even close.
There you go. But they removed the guard out of the way and they roll in. Now that is what you call a pretty good miss.
Yeah, a solid plan B.
3초 2.
And even though they rolled out, so there is a double available, unfortunately that deep rock by Slushinski is set up to catch one of them.
근데 또 가격이
So that's how critical just those little 2 feet here in depth
Go PL.
comes into play.
Yeah, you'd have to be. You tried that angle double takeout. You'd have to be super lucky to get it past the
Sure, the
four
catcher.
rock, back into the
Yeah.
back into the House.
No, at a high level, it is a big mistake to go past that tee line.
Oh yeah. Now you can see once they knew they were past it, they kept it going because try to get as much out of the play as they could.
Curl,
Sure.
curl.
Peel off the guard, run it back.
Yeah, they got one.
Yeah. Pretty darn good outcome, I'd say. It's the old theory: if the rocks are parked in the corner, they can't score against you. So
10초.
we haven't seen any ends yet so far, Owen, where they've really built, and they're drawing into the forefoot, drawing to the forefoot, then trying to outdraw to the forefoot. It's all been sort of wide open and hits and some misses. Just a nice quiet weight takeout.
어, 클린. 어. 어, 클린. 어. 영석아. 영석아.
Looking for a bit of a roll if they can.
(7번) 도는돌 맞나? 아, 스테이션 돌 맞나?
Always mildly entertaining for me, the Asian teams.
Normal.
I don't speak
Like
Korean
normal?
or Japanese or Chinese. But certain terms obviously don't translate well. So you'll hear them in their native tongue and then you'll hear clean.
Or whoa.
Exactly. So
I think
there's
whoa's gotta be-
certain unique
Yeah.
English curling terms that obviously don't translate well. And indeed, these teams come over and spend a
Yep.
good portion of their winters in Canada, and obviously
Clean.
they pick up the curling terminology.
Curl.
Yeah. All right,
Curl,
just
curl,
do-
curl,
do a little
curl,
run,
curl, curl.
raise takeout. They get one.
Shot.
Oh.
It's looking a lot better now for Team Slushinski.
Yeah, they've got the hammer and they're in the driver's seat now. Yeah, even watching European teams who spend a lot of the time in Europe and hurry hard and whoa and stuff for
Well, I
Ubiquitous.
think of Nicholas Adina. Hard.
Yeah.
A
Like-
version of hard.
well, you got to throw a little accent in there.
Yeah, a little
Pretty
Swedish.
straight, so.
Yeah.
So next time I see him, I'll have to ask him, is that a Swedish word for hard, or is that a Swedish accent on
On an English word.
an English word?
Well, we'll get you some aquavit and a couple plate of lutefisk there. You'll be speaking Swedish before you know it.
There you go. There we go, trying to draw around the off-center guard. Try and lay two.
They've taken a lot
오케이,
of
라인
ice.
됐어, 영석아. 수근아, 라인 됐어.
They've been doing that all game.
Okay.
They're taking much more ice.
어, 계속
Then
와.
the
라인,
Slushinski
왼쪽 찾아.
team.
라인 좋아, 수근아.
It's working for them.
수근아, 계속 와, 수근아, 계속 와, 수근아, 계속 와.
Well, like you're saying earlier, it's
Line 좋아, line
there's
좋아,
been
line
studies
좋아.
and university papers written and physics teams that looked at it, and a lot of the why does that rock curl so much more than not just one player, but all the players from Slushinski are not getting nearly the curl that our friends from Korea are getting. So
One would suspect that there's a set aspect to the
Yep.
Slushinski team.
Hard.
And this
Hard.
set we refer to is when they throw
Hard.
big weight and they set the
Hard.
rock and it runs
Whoa.
totally straight.
Whoa,
So
whoa.
if that set is a part of their regular
Shot.
shot-making skills, then that kind of explains it. So the Koreans are throwing similar rotation, but not giving it that set would be my suspicion.
and certainly teams like this, they're throwing more rocks in practice in a week than they are throwing in games more than likely,
Sure.
especially on the off weeks. And
Well, and also the Asian teams that come over, like I said, they spend their whole winter over here.
Yep. Oh,
They are effectively professional curlers, so our curlers come to the events and then they go back to work.
Yep,
These guys take the off days and throw hundreds of rocks at various rinks across the land, wherever they happen to be. So,
yeah, and our guards are back plumbing or selling cars or whatever they do. Yeah,
yeah, different methods.
and it is. You're right. It's muscle memory. You do enough things over and over, your body you don't even have to think about it anymore.
9초 7.
I think at my age, I'm getting too late for that, but a fella can dream. Here we are looking for a straight on the nose takeout.
Whoa. Curl.
The double,
Curl.
double's there.
Nose get the double.
Yeah, it's there.
Looks like they might get it the other way.
Good shot.
Nope, they do come
Yeah.
curl up just enough, get the nose. Still two guards out front, one slightly off center and one extremely corner guard. So
Nice throwing.
We're down to the skip rocks now.
still
So
Hold him
opportunity.
off a little sooner on your run, but
Slushinski's
so
going to
loud.
struggle to get two, I think.
It was hard to get off early though.
진짜
Yeah,
여기서 내가 구추가 여기 나왔거든. 여기 저거든. 약간
yeah. Because the main thing was you had to make pushbacks. Like what you did was really good. Like it got us back. into
세미트로 오고 여기
Now, I don't know if I can
반응
make
맞아야
a
될 것
roll.
같아.
Could get deuce.
길게 가도 되니까 그래서
So what they're looking at here, Owen, just to hit and
So
flop
you think
across.
my rocks will be like the
I
three?
didn't see his final.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for. Is
They
to,
weren't even close.
they're going to throw a good
Da-
weight at it.
Downside of rolling across is
Yeah.
they're going to be dangerously close to
Yeah.
beyond the tee line and then open to a freeze.
Yeah, looking for a little come across the face here.
As long as they stay in the rings, they've got a good chance of forcing a single. So they don't need to get too fancy.
Yeah, the way this end has been played out, Park should be happy if they just give up a single.
Right. And even that off-center guard, that's high enough. Even if you get right behind it, it could still be got to.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of curl on this sheet. One half a sheet E. There's certain shots you wouldn't be able to make on that sheet that you could make on this sheet.
I could hack it out, or we just tap it.
So basically, the blue rock is pretty much sitting wide open there.
There you go. So they're choosing either to remove it or just tap it.
Tap it a rock and
A
a
little.
half.
There you go. A rock and a half is a suggestion by
나이스 컷.
the third.
Back 8.
Here we see that dramatic difference in
Just going to look at it.
broom and anticipated curl.
Just going to look at a quiet takeout, are we? Is that the final
Move
decision?
it like a rock and a half.
You know,
We're going to freeze to it.
Back eight.
Team Park ended up in that spot earlier, and the broom was on the edge of 8 foot. So now we see Slushinski, 2 feet difference on broom.
약간
Yeah, so
와이드한데.
it's really quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
지금 약간 와이드하게 됐었어.
It tells me that the sheet could be mildly dished. I do know Chris had mentioned, or one of his assistants mentioned, he had spent the week trying to get the middles down. And that would be part of the explanation. It's sort of flat in the middle of the sheet,
Yep, hard
and
guys.
a little
hard.
bit up on the edges.
Coming down now, they need to move the blue stone
Straight,
a little
straight.
bit.
We'll call that a very good shot.
Sweep.
Beauty.
Tapped at the
Yes,
foot and a half that was requested by the third.
I didn't think it was going to be that big a
Yeah,
gap.
that was back 8 weight, so that was just well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my third game
Like we
on this
needed
sheet of
to
ISO, and then
hit a
as we're looking at it from our end, the
little
home end,
further.
the right-hand side has been a struggle. It's curling more now than it was earlier today and yesterday, but it's still been
그냥 4분의
given
1.
sort of
So
Fits
from
and
what you've
starts.
seen, the left-hand side has had more curl.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And
girl,
the right, as we're looking at it, the right-hand
it's
side,
it's
looking
definitely
towards the
the
away end,
조금만 더.
both going both directions.
way slow.
Yeah.
Not even
Especially
in
last
the
night,
ballpark.
man, they couldn't get a foot and a half of curl out of it.
That sounds very similar to sheet E.
Like
I've
that,
done 2 games
that
on
throw with
sheet E,
its guard
Yeah.
with the-
and very similar. The right-hand side, not as much curl, and it was mucking with both teams' minds.
Like I threw that more.
The other side had good to average curl.
Took down for
Sheet
like
B
I
I
was
did
going
this
yesterday.
morning, and it's
No ad.
more of a mystery sheet. It's not as perfectly balanced, so
Oh.
it's a sheet of different lines. There's the miss.
Yep.
Here's the deuce
man,
attempt.
oh man, you just can't afford at this level alone to be
like-
making those kind of mistakes.
really
That's
come to
Well, we say that, and
Well-
I'm gonna stop predicting because this should be a deuce.
yeah, it's,
But the way they've been curling both teams, it's sort of all bets are off. So we'll just watch and see.
well, if you
He
just
has the opportunity.
You're right. If you just walked up here to
It's
the warm,
definitely
comfortable
the
lounge here at the
fourth
Penticton
Yeah.
Curling Center and looked at the
I got
scoreboard, you
throw
go,
with my
wow,
forward
that's a
guard.
tight, close game. They're just duking it out. When
Yeah.
in reality, it's just been a series of who makes
More
some
more
misses.
misses than pistols, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My eyes are attracted to the
Similarly?
sheet beside us. There's a lot of rocks in that house on sheet B. However, it's a bit of a runaway game, so
Yeah.
desperate times, desperate measures. Load them up and see what happens. Here we go, final rock. And 4. This will bring us to midpoint in this game.
Slushinski sitting 1 already and hoping to get 2.
Line's a hair tight.
Sweepers were on it initially,
No,
so
line's
we know
fine.
it's in somewhat range. They're on, they're off. They're on, they're off.
Yeah. Always a good positive
Now I'll
sign.
make a prediction. I think he's got
Whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, you're so daring, Owen. Look at you going on the limb.
Well, once burned, twice shy. You know?
Yeah. 4 times.
Well,
burned,
there you
5
go.
times.
Even then, and
Oh,
I'm
oh,
wrong.
Oh my
See?
goodness gracious! Holy Hannah!
They did misjudge it. They just misjudged it.
Wow.
Whoa,
That thing
whoa.
just kept sailing and sailing along.
Yeah,
I thought they had it.
so did I. It's misjudged.
Oh, that's 1 for Slushinski.
Misjudged by the sweepers.
So after 4 ends, Slushinski's up 3-2 over Park from Korea. Park will have the hammerhead into the 5th end.
Quick updates across the sheet. We have one other tight game over
I think
on
that's
sheet
4
A. Kleider and Nobert duking it out, all tied up at 2.
있는데
Other than that, there are basically some wampins going on out there. They're about halfway through the games, and there's 3 teams that haven't got a point yet. That's a discouraging kind of day when you're halfway through a game and you haven't made the scoreboard. Particularly when your opponents are up around the 4, 5, 6 mark in points.
Yeah, they're getting up into the second half of the 12 that show on our scoreboards here, and you're still sitting parked in the stable.
Now, knowing our primary sponsor, Brad Wood and Annette Wood, owners of New Floors Penticton, part of his rationale for all he does for the curling in BC and part of the ethos of this event was to get some of the top teams in the world and give the BC teams an opportunity to play against them, to learn, to get their games better. And in effect, if you think about my comment, we do have 12 of the 24 top-ranked teams in the world here. And we have 30 teams. So you have 12 very elite teams, and then a whole bunch of BC teams and a few other Canadian teams. And so it's not that surprising that in the round robin we see some of these scores. And even though they might take a licking, it's good for them in the long run. It sees where they need to get to. It shows them the flaws in their own game and what they need to work on to progress and crawl up that ladder. So thanks again to New Floors and Brad Wood in particular for the concept and implementation of this event. It's a wonderful event for curling in general, but in particular
It's
a great
way warmer
event
than
for
yesterday.
BC curling as curlers in BC
Yeah.
attempt to make the world stage and up to get their game up to the national competitive level.
And Park has just parked one on the button, a little deeper than he would have liked.
That's 2 times you're working that. I think that time was an intended pun, and last time I don't even think you noticed, but you made an unintended pun on the park.
Or was it 2/3 of a pun? PU.
There you go.
Just seen an update on sheet F there. McEwen
Line's
has just
good.
stolen one to take a 6-0 lead over Blasser.
Yep. Hard line.
There you go. So we're into the back
Hard
half now.
Hard.
4 ends to go.
Hard.
Tight game.
Hard.
Slushinski's looking
We're
just comfortable.
really anticipating both
Keep
teams
going,
getting
keep
it
going. Looks good,
together
looks
a
good.
bit.
Yep.
They've had plenty of time to learn the
Sweep.
speed of the
15-8.
sheet, the lines of the sheet. So hopefully we'll get some more pistols and fewer errors.
Yeah. Fewer misfires.
And indeed, this end is already starting out that way. Well-placed initial center guard, well-placed initial draw around, followed by a well-placed freeze tap. So this is a very common early end view of rock placement. I believe the call is for another freeze on top. And this is a pattern we see regularly on TV.
Yeah, it certainly is more of a traditional strategy.
Sure.
First
The
four
guard,
ends.
the draw,
Yeah.
the freeze. They stack them up, and at some point one team decides, okay, it's time to move stuff.
Yeah, the first 4 ends seem to be sort of really freestyling, or well, I guess not.
There, look at that.
not
4 rocks
Yeah.
in a virtual line. All weights virtually correct. So They are getting it together, either individually or collectively. They've smacked each other about and said, get it together, and there you go. Early in this end, the Leeds did exactly what they were asked to do.
And that's so important, you know, if, as you know, Owen, from your curling experience. Boy, if your front end aren't doing you proud, you're in tough shape. It's really hard to build an end if your first 4 rocks aren't where they need to be.
Curl.
Sheet D just wrapped up.
Straight. Straight.
Mr. Botcher getting some practice out here. Effectively, he hasn't had a close game yet, but that's to be anticipated. He is the top-ranked team here. The current, last I looked yesterday on Curling Zone, he's ranked number 2 in the world.
They were 16-1.
We all know him. We all know the story. This is their second year together. They've got no shortage of Olympic medals and world medals. And they've got 2 of one of the greatest front ends ever from the Martin team, Hebert and Kennedy. So no surprise that they're dominating their competition here in the round robin portion.
And at the risk of repeating myself, I'm still just amazed at these guys I've watched on national and international curling competitions are right here. And I literally live 5 doors from the curling club. I mean, they're right in our hometown. It's just amazing. And come on down. There's passes available. You can come down. You can buy a day pass or evening pass or a full event pass. Come down, nice warm lounge. We have floor to ceiling windows. You have great views. Full bar. Food.
And in the modern day entertainment world, I'd say a bargain. World-class curling, $20. Can't even go see a movie for that if you want to buy popcorn. So
they always get you on the popcorn. So we're getting quite a nice little pile going on here in the forefoot and on the button.
Well, you wanted that draw game.
2/3.
And you're getting what you wanted.
Well, I think they really had it.
Both teams have the incentive to junk it up now.
Yeah.
You've got to make a move. Yeah. Obviously, they feel more comfortable with the ice.
Well,
as we expected them to after 4 ends.
I mean, 3-2 after 4 ends is a pretty tight game score-wise, and you just got to try a different strategy or plan. So here comes
our first big weight shot.
Yep, big weight to clear out some granite.
And there we go, a beautiful double.
As good as you
very
can
nicely
make
done.
Rocks are in a line again. 2 of them are Slushinski.
One
Park. Looks like he's
really
either going to peel or run that red in.
Yeah.
Park has the hammer in this end.
Well, I mean, just get rid of the 2 blues. That's all I was cared about.
There we heard the third for Slushinski. He's happy. He did what he wanted. He says, we got rid of the 2 blues, and that's all he cared about.
Yeah, no, that was
called and made.
100% shot that one.
Cut. Okay, good.
There it is.
Yep.
Almost a triple, but he got the double.
Answered right back.
Left his own rock shot.
So in 2 shots, we've gone from a huge cluster right around the forefoot to a few rocks spaced out all over. I did statistics for a Pinty Grand Slam, a curling event in Cranbrook a number of years ago. And when they teach you how to do it and score, boy, they're tough. Like, if you went to hit these 2 and move them here, if you do exactly 100%, one only went half the way you wanted to, you're down to 80% just like that. So when you see on TV these guys curling at 80, 85, 90, 95%, boy, they're on their game, I'll tell you.
Effectively, they're curling 100% at the club level.
Whoa!
110%, yeah.
Yeah.
Clean.
If I curl like that, I wouldn't be in the B side of the Tuesday night men's.
Curl.
Club level, you want to remove a rock, and you end up rolling out. You go, well, I made that shot.
Yeah.
So what? We wanted to stick around. At least I got rid of it.
Yeah, if you're on TV, you'll get a 0 or 20% maybe, yeah.
Exactly.
So Slushinski came down and took out the rock but didn't get a roll, so they're hanging right out in the open. So it looks like Park's going to come down and just control takeout and hit that, and
He wants to roll undercover.
Yeah, with any hope, come across the face and roll right onto the center line undercover. Yeah.
Because of the language barrier, we rely on the nonverbal cues. So with his broom, he indicated the hit and the flop underneath. So that's their goal.
Yep. Yep.
They've thrown it light. This is the line that has nipped Slushinski a couple times.
Yeah, they both struggled.
They're a
bit
little
on this
out
line.
wider than where he was. So, but it did curl.
Yeah.
Got the most of what they wanted.
Boy, they could have used about a quarter rock, third of a rock hanging out looking
So
at the
there you
monitor.
go, 80% on the Grand
Same
Slam.
weight.
100% at the club level.
Hack. You push the last one to here. So, okay.
So just going to try to pick that one out of there.
I do like the good communication on Team Slushinski. There's a lot of checking and double checking, making sure they're thinking the same things, particularly between the third and the skip. So it's a good quality to have for a team.
And we don't have all the players mic'd up, but you can just see them, or if you can hear through the mic of the guy that's throwing the rock. The sweepers are talking to the guy throwing the rock, and just make sure everybody knows what we're doing. There's no miscommunication as to the plan. The sweepers are discussing, okay, last time we came down, it was yada time, so we're looking for this. Every rock coming down are short of the takeout, but anything that's under takeout weight, they're all being timed.
Shot. Good sweep.
There you go, a lovely shot. Perfect weight. Got the park rock out by a couple feet and rolled to stay in the rings.
Massive split of the house.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit, but
the way it's shaping up now,
it's like a 4-1.
Yep, Park's going to be down to a cold draw for one. Last of the third stones for Park.
Unless I think it's super tight. So I just don't know what it's going to do.
Unless they spill out, and Slushinski's able to draw around that center. So we'll see. Oh, in the end, he's not going to.
No, they originally were looking at takeout.
He's
now they're
ignoring him.
Yeah.
He's going right to the middle.
14-9. That spot's super fast.
Boy, they've overthrown this one.
Not by a ton, but enough.
You don't want to be behind the tee line.
And came out the other side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big miss. That's used to stay on TV back in whatever it was, the 80s and 90s. That was a TSN turning point. Yeah, that thing is 100% exposed out there.
I think so. Just knows it.
That's true. Slushinski has a chance to come and cross the face and roll behind cover. That's a shot they've made once or twice already this end.
There's still a deuce on the table. It's so wide open. And Park has 2 rocks. So no matter what happens here, if he could make a couple of really good shots, he still could get a deuce. It is more looking like a single for one team or the other, but as I said, mathematically he has 2 rocks left. There is a center guard. And Chris Jones is going to go back to getting the ice ready. He's going to have plenty of time now. He's succumbed to the BC Pro Team Robillard.
Right here, coming down. Slushinski's got a good-looking rock here. Oh.
Yep, he's got it.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah.
He's going to roll away from the middle.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to give
any
back.
Does he roll out? No, he doesn't roll out. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you didn't want to leave it in the middle and give him any back.
Is the hair big?
There we go. Park's going to try and make the adjustment 2 feet lighter and a little less curl.
A hair too much ice.
He needs to be. If he's perfectly buried, he can pull off a deuce. There's no doubt about it.
So I got a question on. Why wouldn't you come from the same side you just threw a draw from?
Stayed there too long.
You know that side, our left, as we're looking at it. You just threw one down there. There's been more draws down that side. Why would you also go back to this side?
Well, this is the side they just threw on.
As long as I was close to the right.
And over curled and came out the other side.
I was just a little heavy.
So it's the side they know.
Clearly, my memory's bad. I thought they came down the other side. So
No.
Forget that last question.
There you go.
This spot is lightning.
So because they know this side, they just threw this side, so the adjustments are minor.
That makes sense. I thought they'd come the other side, and that's my question. Yeah, no, you always go down the side. You know, that's pretty standard.
If you have 2 equally risky choices or easy choices, you tend to always go the line you know the best or the turn you like the best.
15-1.
So has he made the adjustment? It looks pretty good.
Behind the tee line, I think, though. No.
Well, he's
that's
2 feet higher, and he did come out, but not by a foot this time. He came out by an inch or 2.
Yeah, it's
Call it 3.5 inches, 4 inches.
yeah, it's just a quarter rock. You're looking.
But enough. Slushinski should. I don't know. See, his previous shots are in his head because it's this line where he's wrecked a couple times.
Yeah, so they're looking to pick this one
I think
out.
I got to bring it down a little.
Oh boy! See, I would think he doesn't want to bring it down a little because
Boy, that
it was
little
his
bit of ice.
down weight that got him in trouble.
Yeah, that
But
little
just
bit of
you
ice,
can
he could
just-
over curl.
It's a window into his mind. His first call was to freeze it, which tells me he doesn't really want to throw that shot because he's been burned on it twice.
It's just like Trivial Pursuit. You go with your first instinct.
Well, you never know. In the end, you got to make what you call. So
Yeah.
Clean.
he's out a little further this time. He's not flirting with near that center line that got him in trouble.
Curl.
So he has made the correct adjustment.
He's called,
Curl.
early on, he's calling for some directional sweeping to curl.
And in the end,
he's made it,
well
yeah.
made.
Yeah.
Good sweep.
There it is.
That was better
Mr.
weight.
Park just needs to
Way
make
more
the
to
shot he
that.
made last time, or
I don't know. I was
Boy,
maybe choosing the hit and sit.
what would you take, Owen?
Both are valid. I just threw the draw. I'd probably throw it again.
Yeah, and he threw it very well. There was
Anytime you're a
perfect,
hit
yeah.
weight, if you don't hit the right spot, you roll out. You're going to give up. You're going to give the game away.
be the best thing.
Well,
in
yeah,
this situation.
yeah. If they miss a hit on this one, that's what they're going for. Is that what they're going? Yep, that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I am surprised.
Golly gosh, even if they,
I'd say 9 coaches out of 10 would be say you just did the draw.
Yeah.
You know the line. You've got the sweepers.
man, if they hit this one and don't stick, they're going to give up 3. Or if it's a really, really bad miss, they're going to give up 4.
Yeah, I don't see a 4, but it's possible.
Well, you'd have
Really, I predict he's going to make this shot. He should make this shot 95 times out of 100. He's our pro level. They're talented.
Yeah. And here it comes down.
It's not as big a weight as usual, which is understandable, so that he doesn't roll too far. However, it brings into the curl. They're fighting the curl right now.
Trying to hold it back a bit. Yeah.
But in the end,
A
he
perfect
does
shot,
make
and
it.
there we go. Yep.
So all tied up.
3-3 after the end of 5. Slushinski versus Park. Park throwing the blue rocks. Slushinski will have the hammer coming into the 6th end.
And bring you up to date on the other sheet. So 2 sheets are done. The Robillard beats ice maker manager Chris Jones. Don't know the final score. It was at least 5 for Robillard, and whether Jones actually got on the board, we don't know. Botcher, at least 6 points. Sturmey looks like they didn't get on the board. The Swiss team's not giving up, despite the fact that they're down 6-0. So that's interesting. I'd say most of the Canadian teams would have shook at that point, but
Yeah.
they've come a long way. They're going to.
We pounded her off all the way down.
I remember 1,000 years ago when I started curling. I played a lot of different sports in my life, rugby and hockey and that, and I found it sort of interesting and quite like the fact that not only is quitting acceptable if you're way behind, you're considered to be a bit of a poor sportsman if you want to keep playing on when you're down 6 after 6 ends. It's like, no, you shake hands, you go for a beverage. So certainly a gallantry to the game. All right, so Parks come down and thrown a center line guard right in the middle of the New Floors Penticton Curling Classic logo, our title sponsors for this year's event, as the last since the inception. I've read online, New Floors started here in Penticton in 1974. As you can tell by my looks, I'm not that young, and I was still in senior high school in 74, so that's a well-established business in our town.
Corner guard called for by Mr. Slushinski. He likes his corners. He likes his corner guards. We haven't seen any extra points yet because of it, but
Curl.
No, but if you don't build,
Potential's there.
yeah, if you don't build up an
Shot,
end with some
perfect.
guards and some structure,
Sure.
your chances of multiple point ends are pretty slim unless there's a
뒤로 올래.
huge error by your opposition.
셋. 셋,
Well,
셋.
we can interpret that Park is looking to steal. This call is for a tight center guard, so he wants that double center guard that you can do to create a steal opportunity now in the 5 free guard zone.
Yeah, no ticking off the center line. So.
Yeah, and the elimination of the tick shot. So classic strategy. So a window into his mind is I'd like to steal
많이
here.
잡아.
Well, I mean, the score indicates a close game, but if you were
애매한데.
scoring the stat-wise, I got to think that Slushinski's been outplaying the Park team, not by a lot, but a bit enough to notice.
Except on critical shots.
Well, they both made their misses
Generally, I would agree the team as a whole is playing better, but we've seen 2 critical draw errors and 2 critical last rock errors by Mr. Slushinski himself. If he hadn't made those errors, they'd probably have a 2 or 3 point lead. So generally, I'd agree with you,
Yep.
but technically,
Hard line. No, line's good.
Well, the reality
line's
is
good.
he misses.
Clean.
The reality is no team has been
Clean.
spectacular tonight.
That's right.
Or this afternoon so far.
Clean.
I think Park would have liked to have
Yeah,
a bit
curl
more separation,
now.
wouldn't they, on those?
yes,
center
that's a
line guards?
mistake
Yeah.
what
Curl,
they did there.
curl,
The way
curl.
those rocks are
Keep
and
going.
drag effect,
Keep going.
even
Hard.
if you bury
Keep going.
behind
Keep going.
those,
Keep going.
it's,
Hard.
Yeah.
Keep going.
you can just
Shot.
about hit those 2 anywhere, and it's going to take something off the forefoot. There he is. He's using that corner guard.
Slushinski's
여기.
come down and put one in behind their corner guard.
여기가 너무 쉽다.
Park team is discussing 2
잠깐만.
options. One is to come around their own guards to the center line, or come and freeze up to the last rock just thrown by Slushinski.
Oh, he feels those rocks are offset enough and the gap is big enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with him. I think he's wrong.
7번인가?
Boy, look at the overhead on our upper monitor there, Owen. That's not much of an offset. It's
No, it's not.
an inch or 2 maybe.
That's what I mean. So even
Yeah.
if he gets around here, I predict Mr. Slushinski's going to whack them,
Yeah.
and there'll be
Come on,
impact
now,
on
now,
the buried rock and the removal of probably one of the guards. So I question this strategy. It's almost like he decided early this is what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to plug away,
지훈이랑.
even though
Yeah.
지훈아.
their second guard was effectively a miss.
Well, and given the shooting percentages of both teams, it's maybe not a bad idea to challenge. So like, yeah, go ahead. Let's see you make it. We've seen you miss 3 or 4 like this already.
but
So dangerous game to play.
when the rocks are lined
Half
up
rock.
like that, he's denying what is. He's saying, no, I decided I was going to do this, so I'm going to do this regardless, because I really think,
Well, and sometimes you get an idea
Yeah.
set in your mind. And,
that's what I think's going on here.
Yep.
give your head a shake and
Here
try to
comes a
loosen
little
it
bit
up.
of drag
Roll.
effect. There it is.
There, exactly what you called. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Good,
Center
perfect.
guards are gone. Shot rock is gone.
여기로 오자.
I'll pat myself on the back and say
Yes, sir.
that
Right,
was
yes,
a strategic error by the
Yeah, it
skipper.
really was. I mean, everything
stuck on his strategy, didn't go with the flow. Initially, he had looked at freezing the Slushinski rock behind the guard, and that would have been the proper shot.
I think so too. And it was
They were just wired up front. there.
everything they built for so far in this end has just gone down the drain now.
Yeah.
바운스 괜찮아, 여성아.
And without the hammer,
안 돼, 짧으면 절대 안 돼. 짧으면 절대 안 돼.
We'll call that a strategic error.
yeah.
And here they're a little bit light, a little bit tight. So now all they've done is really double guard the Slushinski rock.
What was the point of that?
They were trying to freeze.
Oh, were they? Okay.
So they came up light, and now their own rock is a liability. Slushinski's really well in there behind. Now he can go to the other side. There's a big opportunity for a deuce. And at this point in this game, a deuce would be huge
Oh, yeah.
for either team. So
Yeah, knotted up at 3-3. Yeah, you hate to always be critical, but I mean, boy,
No,
at this
we're
level, they
not
missed that.
critical. We'll call it analytical.
Yeah, there we are. But I mean, at this level, I mean, they missed that freeze by what, 3-4 feet, 3 feet at least.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this level of
Top
curling
four.
demands
Line's good.
High-level strategy
Clean.
demands high-level execution. The more complex and difficult your strategy, the more demanding and precise the shots needed are.
And these games are crucial in the pool play. I mean, both teams are 1-0, so barring a tie, one of them's going 1-1 and one's going 2-0. So that's the real difference.
15-3.
Both these teams have another game today, so
I knew they'd have this.
the last thing you want to be at the end of Friday is to essentially be out of it.
Yeah.
And I think
I didn't check to see. We have the world rankings, but as mentioned, I've noted and watched a bit of Slushinski this year, and really noted him every week doing well at the pro events. So I would have handicapped them as a tad higher, regardless of world rankings, but it is matching the world rankings too. And not knowing the Park team, but knowing the Korean program, you assume that they have top level skills. But that was a key strategical error. I'm going to guess their coach saw that too, and that'll be brought up post game. That sort of, you can have a plan, but you need in curling to adjust your plan to where the rocks have ended up.
Yeah, you don't have a whole bunch of time. You've got to.
If you didn't get the rocks where you needed them for your original plan, then you have to modify your plan. So that was a key strategic error.
This is a hair lower.
Yeah, they almost just seem to be stubbornly committed to the plan.
I think you're going to move
wasn't
this.
working. I don't know what.
Yeah, once they missed that second guard and had them frozen, aimed at the button, there wasn't really much point in drawing in, especially when they had the opportunity to do a freeze.
And now they're trying to throw a corner freeze, but they threw it a bit heavy and bumped, and they're ripe to be picked out. And I think that's what Slushinski's looking at here.
That is what he's looking at. Yeah. He knows it's a difficult shot. It's got fine lines, but it is it's the shot.
You can't roll that way.
It has to be
you
dealt
roll
with.
this way somewhere.
So now they're getting fussy. I just focus on the task
control
at
if you
hand.
hit 2/3. I think
you make this shot, you're laying 3. So there's no doubt it is.
Or do you think
shot.
you hit?
There's 2 and 3, so they have to move that blue. I personally wouldn't be too fussy about where my shooter ends up.
But I think with
can end up anywhere.
I think with control, though, it's possible to go here and just move this.
So as long as they can get rid of that rock, there's a deuce minimum on the table here. If you have to sacrifice those 2,
I mean, we could throw board too.
Yeah, I don't think you want to pick out the blue rock and have your rock sit right there, because then you're
that's what he wants.
I don't know where to put the broom either.
The downside,
I don't know where to put the
if he
broom
wants
either.
to roll to the middle,
only had draws
then
here.
he risks taking his own out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just.
But then you're never rolling.
You end up hitting that on the nose and sitting there. You have an angle backing.
Like, I don't think it moves much.
And yes, the double could be made, but it also could get jammed.
Yeah, and here they're talking about now. You listen to the commentary. They're talking about, it's not going to move that much as far as the curl, with a bit of up weight.
So they're confident in the line.
I think it's better to make that,
something
even if
that
you
isn't
kill
there.
That, than like.
Yeah, you're right. These guys do look like a NASCAR team, don't they?
Then they make this double and stay
I like it though.
under.
The sort of the dark gold on black.
There you go.
Oh, that's overburied. Yeah, exactly. I think control weight. If you hit 2/3, I think you might have a chance of leaving this here.
I like that. Let's shoot this one hard.
See, I'm going to disagree with what he's doing here.
So he's looking to just throw
He
control
really
weight,
wants the roll to the middle and the separation, but he's convinced himself. He just said if they hit 2/3 of the blue, he thinks the red behind it will stay in the ring.
Well, it's funny because Slushinski said that.
I don't think it will.
Well, funny because his very first, at the start of the conversation, Slushinski said that, and there was a long discussion, arguing back and forth. At the end of the day, they went with his first sort of call, right?
Right, so he's doing kind of what Park did. He's insisting on something he wants, even though it might not be there.
Curl.
Directional sweep and trying to get it over.
Hard.
Disaster here would be if his shooter rolls out.
And it's going to,
Yeah, there it is.
Exactly.
Disaster.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
There's 2 strategic errors, one by each skip. Did not need to do that. Did not need to do that at all.
Yeah, it just.
They needed to come down, get to nose, and let Park make a double.
Yeah. Well, you
Still
listen
got
to-
the other one, then you come
Yeah.
back and you get your deuce.
Well, you listen to Slushinski. I mean, he was just committed to that idea, and they talked back and forth, and
And he just went back to it.
they talked draw, they talked, nose hit, they talked,
Yeah, but-
like hit and stick, and at the end of the day, they went back to his original.
Yeah,
hit
he
roll
wanted
idea.
that roll.
Yeah.
That roll was the most important thing to him, whereas if I was his coach, I'd say, well, no, the roll's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to get rid of that blue rock and lag 3
Yeah. Well,
and let them deal with it.
Well, as you know, we do at the club level. Okay.
Yeah.
Hit and roll, but let's go with hit first, and then hopefully the
Yes.
icing on the cake
What's
is the roll.
objective A?
Yeah. Yeah.
Objective A there was to get rid of the blue and stay in the rings.
Yeah. Exactly, and they did neither. So.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Overthought. Denying the reality of the situation.
Or underthought him, and he was just locked into that idea.
Yeah, so
That's too bad.
they
Because
spend a long time discussion. That's why I call it overthinking.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have a tough time getting 2. Tough time getting 2 if Park team makes their shots. This draw is proper. They're going to be laying 2. Might be a long double, but it won't be an easy one. So
Certainly looking to
crazy
split the house.
game.
Yeah.
I think both of us expected better from these 2 teams.
Yeah, certainly the highest ranked teams I've commentated on game-wise so far this event, and
Okay, so now to make the double, the red would leave.
yeah, and that's a long, high
Half
angle
a
double.
rock.
That is. I've seen it done on TV.
Oh, it's a makeable shot, but I'm
What weight
questioning
do you
it
see it?
again. Why not just hit it
Heel.
and roll on top of your own?
Heel.
Then you'd be number
Half.
2 and 3, and
Yeah.
you'd bring in multiple back into the play.
Yeah.
Doing this, I don't think even if he makes it, he's going to be wide open, and there's no multiple.
Yeah, it's.
So
You just
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here
Clean.
for entertainment purposes, since Russ Howard's not commentating.
Straight.
But
Straight.
I really question
Straight.
what they're attempting.
It's right. Man, oh man, oh man. They're shooting themselves in the foot on. I just don't quite grasp
The game's tough enough
strategy.
as it is. When you're attempting stuff that isn't there,
Well, I mean,
ghosts, if you will, you're just
Sorry,
making your
I
own
messed
life
that up.
miserable.
Well,
That's what
yeah.
Park
I
did
didn't
with
think
his
we could,
decision. That's what
even hit
Slushinski
too
did with
much.
his own strategic
Like when I was
decision.
looking
This
at
is
the
not
card
a this is
and
not a
looking at that.
physical error. This is a strategic mental error.
well, I mean, the shot was there 1 time or 2 times out of 10, but you got to ask yourself,
I haven't seen anything go
In,
to
in
the
words of Clint Eastwood,
like
are
it's
you-
always a
Harry,
struggle to get 'em buried
are you
under
feeling
the
lucky,
corner.
punk?
Yeah. Well,
They
it's
make them curl. They just hook
in
them.
a sense, you got to fall back on the math.
Every time they go to the
Math is fixed.
like I think
Now there's
If you are
they
lying
were, like, the
3,
first 2, I think they even got by the guard in this
you have a chance.
Yeah.
They've been cracking guard.
If you're lying second shot, it's all
Chance.
out the window.
And now
different ways.
Park team is just going to come down and put one.
Try and lie too. They're a little light,
Wider
but the
than
sweepers are working it. They need to be second shot. Looks like they're going to get it there.
They're working on like an
Well thrown, but that's well thrown. That's a
Come
professional
on, Matt.
shot. Throw it to your sweepers.
Yep.
Sweepers can't slow
Oh.
rock down, but they can. At this level, they can get it easily.
hit it where you just
On
hit
these sheets, 10 to 12 feet, they can add
Yeah.
to a draw.
It's a little more
Well,
buried.
they're on that like it owed them money.
There,
They,
Yeah.
they drug that a long ways. That's
So there it is. Same shot again.
Yeah, I think.
Now that rock is 1 rock deeper.
Yeah, I can see enough.
So the double is there without removal of their own stone.
I don't think
so
we
they
go
would
over
be
the top of
lying
this
too
one.
if they can make it.
You'd almost
Yeah.
So
think the Park.
despite all these errors, he's
we hit
still
it
got
exactly
a
where
potential
Jeremy hit
deuce.
it.
Not as easy as it would have been, I would think, but it's still potentially there.
That's still a tough double. I don't.
It's
I don't
they
care
are
who,
tough
who's
doubles.
throwing the rock here. Yeah,
It's all about where you hit it, hitting the right spot on the rock.
coming down with big weight.
Whoa. Yep.
It's close.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
On and off.
Curl.
On and off.
Curl.
On
Curl.
and off. On and off.
Curl.
And one
miss it
time
again.
over the top, this time underneath.
Yeah.
Close but no cigar, as they say.
And now they're just going to put it back where they were.
Third time in a row.
Yeah.
They know the line, so this should be made. Keep lying too. That's their defense.
you're-
Nothing guard in the middle, so it's
똑같이 해볼래?
So if you're Slushinski,
defense by numbers.
assuming Owen, if you're Slushinski, the
똑같이
park
해볼래?
rink puts
똑같이
another rock
해볼래?
right where the last one was.
어,
Do you go for the
똑같이
third time
해볼래?
the charm and the double takeout, or
Well, he's gonna have.
are you a cold draw for one? And
Interesting question. I'm going to wait till I see the depth of this. So it has, if it's above the red on the left, then it's you can't do it.
no.
So it's only if he goes deep enough. Now, if he goes too deep, it's flat and
yeah.
you can't do it. So then it's a draw automatically. So
Yeah, and all they need is
I don't know. Getting into these guys' heads. If this rock ends up exactly where the last one was, then yes, he will try it again. Because the upside is 2. The downside is you're not going to miss both of them. So you keep hammering, you give a point. But we'll find out.
15 again.
Find out.
try to bring it a little bit behind,
A
maybe
little bit deeper.
여기까지 봐, 여기까지 봐.
a little behind.
A little bit deeper, too flat. There's your answer. Straight draw. Draw the 4-foot. We know the last time he tried to draw the 4-foot, he was heavy, so
So now
it's not a gimme.
So his first rock, I know the struggle I have when I'm in the hack is my first rock's been a high, heavy takeout. Now the skip says, now please throw a draw to the button sort of thing, right? And like so you've got to try to, in your head, dial it down, but, you know.
It's interesting he's gone to his out turn because his heavy draw for 2 was an in turn
15.
coming this way. So he's changed. I'm going to make a guess that his favored turn, when you have a choice of both, is the out turn.
Boy, a miss here could be disastrous.
I'll go out on a limb and say they make it. Professional curler, oh, good little ad. I don't think he's light. Sweepers aren't doing much.
No. You seem to give her just a
Still
little
gliding pretty good. Starting to come down
little
now.
push at the end there.
Yeah, I saw the ad. Now that can
Yeah.
be very deceiving because we don't. You
And-
see the physical motion, but you don't know exactly how hard. And there
And
you go.
And some players,
He's got it
they do
dialed
all the
in.
time,
He
yeah.
brings it down
right to the button, basically.
right to
yeah.
the button. Straddles the tee line.
There we are. So that's one for the red team. For
But here we go. Still a
Slushinski.
tight game.
So Slushinski's up 4-3 after 5 ends. Or 6 ends, sorry. After 6 ends. Going into the 7th end, Park will have the hammer.
We are one of only 2 games remaining. The other game is Nobert and Kleider. Kleider has
Shot by like
a
half inch, both
4-point lead
directions.
after 5, but Nobert ain't giving up.
No.
I know. It's a nightmare.
Nobert is Blue
Yeah,
Rocks,
we messed
temporary lane 1.
So now with most of the people
Both,
off
I know.
the rink,
Right.
are we looking at a a little change
Bit of
to
center
the
yard.
humidity, to maybe
Definitely.
a little frosting coming up? Might things be even slowing down?
Anytime you lose even one sheet beside you, the heat source is the feet and everything. So overall, the ice tightens up, gets a little slower. It just isn't resisting the heat of the curves, both their sweat, their breath, their feet on the ice.
Yeah, we've
for,
had
for those listening, I did have a 15-year career as an ice maker, so fairly in tune with one of these things. This is something that the arenas in particular, an ice maker has to have anticipation of 4 to 6 hours. Club setting is much more controlled, but it is a good point for you club curlers in the evening draws.
Line's
You
a
lose
little
that
tight.
sheet beside you, you can anticipate your ice is going to tighten up, your draw speeds are going to slow down a bit. If you lose everybody and you're the last ones out there, definitely.
well, they're almost like the last ones out there. They've lost 32 people are gone off the playing area now, and
Yep.
either side of them are empty as well. So it's
Now, these guys are high enough level, they should be
able to adjust.
constantly adjusting and noting. And the latter ends, even when you don't lose the sheets beside you, you got to watch for fudging in those slide paths. We see that a lot on the arena ice in the later ends. The Pan Continentals was watching, and Howard was talking about that quite a bit, that the teams in one particular game weren't picking up on the fact that the slide path was really fudging, and rocks they thought were T-line were dying in the top 12.
And you'll see too that
15초.
not only the team throwing is timing the rocks, generally the opposition team are timing rocks as well. And
Yep.
because it's hand timing, it's not
Top four.
100% accurate. But these guys get pretty close, and they'll be talking to their counterpart on the front end. What did you get there?
Yep.
Okay, it seems to be slowing down on the outside, or
Yeah. No, that's
getting quicker in the slide path. Yeah.
that is the job of the entire team to
Yeah.
constantly analyze and reanalyze what is at this particular moment.
Well, when you got a 44-pound hunk of granite running on a small running ring on a pebbly sheet of ice that can curl up to 3, 4, 5 feet,
Line's good.
it's quite an art to be able to read the ice.
Yep.
Line's good. I think it'll really carry it.
So, single by
Looks
Slushinski,
good,
1
keep
point
going.
lead, 2 ends to
Hard.
go. In theory,
line's
that means
really
one
good.
hammer each. So, without knowing the stats right now, you'd have to favor Slushinski. We're seeing a standard opening.
58.
Slushinski put up the
Shot.
center
약간
guard.
이거 빼도 괜찮을까?
Team
살짝만.
Park came around with a
Oh,
nice
괜찮아.
draw to the top of the button,
살짝
followed
안쪽.
by
5.
Slushinski freezing on top. So,
Yeah, and we've seen this before where Park has a hammer, and instead of throwing up a corner guard like Slushinski has through the game, they sort of seem to go right to the button, try to get
yeah,
in
play
behind
to-
that
play
center
to the
guard.
middle.
그린.
A lot of coaches don't like that. You're
라인 좋아.
talking about shrinking the scoring zone, but they're in this game. It's worked for them so far in a sense.
Well, it's more like a skins game when you do that, when you just sort of go
Sure.
straight to the button sort of thing.
What it tells me is they're confident in their run backs because this strategy, inevitably, at some point, they're going to run in that center guard and see what's left at that point. So these teams are usually confident in their run backs. So that's a big part of this kind of opening gambit, as it were. And indeed, we're asked for another one. Make that stack. Stacking them all up behind one.
Just top 8. A little bit short's fine. Line's
Behind
good.
one lonely center guard.
Okay. Yep. Hard. Line's perfect. Hard. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. Okay. Good sweep.
There you go.
하나 더 바꿔
They
열래.
got
안
it
되면
far
열래.
enough to take
16.
away the straight run back.
근데 이거 좀 벌어지면 별로긴 하다.
Now we're probably looking at what you figure, a draw coming down on the other side.
Well, we've seen 2, now 3 possibilities indicated by the skip. First, he thought about the freeze, then he thought about the tap. Then he indicated, do we take the front off? Now he's back to the freeze.
Now is that a good sign having any choice, or is that a bad sign? That
Well,
none are good.
and now we have the third going down
Yeah.
to consult and get in on it. So,
이거 라인이 다 좋아야 되거든.
Yeah, I think the Park team's starting to feel a little bit of pressure. They realize there's not a lot of game left here. Just want to take a moment to thank the sponsors of this game here in Sheet C, our featured game and our broadcast. New Floors, so they not only sponsor the entire event as the
누나 이거
name sponsor, they're also sponsor of this game. And Complete Storage.
다섯 제일 좋긴 해. 약해도 괜찮아 여기.
All right, what have they settled on here? Just gonna draw in.
now the broom indicates the freeze. Gonna come in there and try and freeze right on the top of that stack. I don't know why.
아 준아 약하다. 준아 약해.
They're light, it's curling.
와 준아 와 준아 와 준아 와.
And now we got a ton of clutter up front.
벌려야 돼 준아 벌려야 돼
Oh,
벌려야 돼
they're on
벌려야 돼
the
벌려야 돼
guard.
벌려야 돼.
I would say Mr. Slushinski's probably pretty happy with this. He's solidly in there as second rock. It's a tiny scoring area. He's not gonna, he's gonna say, I'm leaving those guards out there.
찬 것도 약한 것 같아.
He's gonna come in and get frozen on the other side of Shot Rock.
좀
And
탈락이 됐어.
Yeah, you
he's
put,
happy to
Right
give
here,
up one,
just
come
top
home
four.
tied with hammer, I'm quite sure.
yeah, and you're just keep putting up the granite wall there. It's going to be impenetrable pretty soon.
He wants to freeze Shot Rock. He'll have Shot Rock from both sides. And he'll say to Mr. Park, you come and make it different. Until you make it different, I'm just going to let you have your one.
But now clearing out the guards up top is getting difficult. They're all staggered angles.
Yep.
Just a reminder for those listening here in the Okanagan, South Okanagan area.
Line's
Come on
good.
down and watch some great curling. We have full event passes. You can be here right through to Monday afternoon's final. Daily passes and evening passes for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Come on
World
down.
class curling here.
It is, Owen. It's still like, I know I sound repeating myself ad nauseum, but I'm just amazed that this level of curling is here for us in Penticton.
So there's a miss. They wanted a free shot rock. They ended up freezing the top of the stack.
Boy, they were really light now, weren't they? They were 4, 5, 6 feet at
12,
least light.
12 feet light.
Yeah. The sweepers were on that, but it didn't really.
That being
Get it
said,
close.
that's the error on that shot. They didn't want to be deep with it, so it didn't hurt anything. Added to the guard.
Yeah, the last thing you want to be is just behind the T line or something.
Yes, you did, or right beside
Yeah.
shot, and
Leaves them some
they
sort
would
of
have
pick.
might have left a double of their own too, and then they would have been behind the 8 ball. So that's what you call the professional error. It's a concept I've tried to explain to my club team. They don't seem to understand, and I'm a little bit tired of all the rocks ahead of me being behind the tee line, creating a wall for the opposition to sit in front of. So
Yeah, it's always nice if you're coming down and you have backing. It makes that draw just a little less challenging.
yeah,
So what are they looking
I think I got a nickname for my team based on your comment. Team backing, that's my team. It's like, okay, let's just put a ring back there for the opposition to come down to.
So, Owen, they can go on YouTube and watch any of the past broadcasts of this New Floors Penticton Curling Classic 2023 edition and go, what? Owen said this about us?
Yeah, I did, if you're listening, guys. So
Well, actually, not
I've
just-
told you before, and now I'll tell you publicly. It's just like try to be above the tee line.
Well, Owen, not this coming week, the week after, we need a spare. So if you don't have a team left after this, you can come with us.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they don't have too many options, so
Oh.
I'm not worried till next season.
Your confidence is overwhelming. So what are they looking at here? Like, they seem to be studying clearing out the
Well,
big mess out
it's a
front.
tough situation, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Nobody wanted this. There's only so many rocks will leave out of that guard pile, so one questions whether you even bother, and that is indeed what they've come down to.
Well, and if you look up at the
So
overhead,
we're wasting our time.
Yeah.
We're wasting our rocks. We're drawing in, and this is valid.
yeah,
If they can draw around and freeze their own, they're laying 2, and then because of that error, it'll be come and get me.
and looking at the overhead shot, a couple of those guards out front are angle frozen right together, and they're all close. I don't think you'd accomplish anything anyhow.
Right. I think the most you could really remove on one shot would be 2 of them.
Yeah, and that'd be a
That'd be the maximum.
Yeah. No, the draws.
And you still wouldn't be able to see the shots in the house. So they've added it up just like we did, and they're doing the logical thing. This is an opportunity. If they can weld it to their own, there's a great chance of a deuce or even a 3 here.
Yeah, now the crucial part, make the shot.
And they didn't.
Nope, they're
they
back
got
to the
light.
front.
So your comment, does the ice change? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say with the loss of all those other curlers, this ice has slowed right down. That's 2 misses by 12 feet on draws. Undoubtedly, we're no longer looking at 15-second draws. We're looking at 14-second draws easily.
I got my trusty stopwatch. I'll time the next draw.
There you
rock,
go. But I think your guess early on and your begging the question was
well, say
very intelligent question for the current situation, and very educational to some of the curlers listening who don't curl a lot, don't know the subtleties, and that is a big subtlety of the sport.
and I've been curling a long time, and I've noticed that at the club games, if you're sort of one of the last ones out there, all of a sudden like, whoa, the ice has really changed.
I'll give you an ice maker's tip. So if you're close enough to the plant room, you can hear when the plant comes on. Now the plant comes on automatically when it feels too much heat. And once the plant comes on, now the refrigeration is on, so it's making the ice colder.
So I got 14.7 on this rock.
Just knife it.
And there you go. 14.7 at the beginning of this game would have gone through the house. So it is changed by a full
지금
second.
여기 패스가 많이 안 나가긴 하다 여기서가.
That's a pretty good
15초
shot.
나왔거든. 15초. 이거 그냥 이거
Tough to get to the across the face. Possible, but tough.
Boy,
라인은
it's,
충분해.
That
여기서가
mob
이거
out front
이것도
is
괜찮아.
still.
이거 15초 나왔다.
I mean, you've got to throw
You,
enough.
you can't remove everything there. So
No, I mean, and to come across the face is going to be tough because they've got to throw enough weight.
yeah, no. This is
You're gentle enough weight to have it curl, get past the guards and curl over, but still enough to hit it and roll. Yeah.
precision shot. They need
여기서
to come by
크게 돌아왔거든.
the guard by a whisker.
상대편 거 크게 돌아왔거든.
Their weight has to be enough to move it, but not too much that it doesn't get across the face.
4초 후반에
Well, when you say
It's actually a pretty well-placed rock by Slushinski.
Yeah. Well, when you say that, it sounds really quite easy.
하나만 앉아 잡을게.
Well, no, I'm trying to say that it's not easy
No.
because there's no
It's-
room for error on line or weight.
I know many weekends sitting in my Barco lounger at home watching the curling on TV. And, oh, come on, guys! All you had to do was X, Y, Z, and then a couple more, and you would have got that shot.
Yep.
A little harder. You're down the ice, staring down a
Yep.
bunch of granite.
Whoa.
Curling club wisdom. You never miss a shot up here behind the
No.
glass. They're close.
Well, they got it. They got it by.
Oh, they got just that wick.
Boy, I
So
tell
there
you,
was. They were
Yeah.
they were within
a whisker.
a quarter inch of making that. The weight was right. Look at that. The weight was right. They were going to get across the face.
And they were on
But
that early
a
trying to hold it
game
straight.
of
Yeah.
millimeters, let
Yeah.
alone inches.
Oh, look at you going metrico on.
Hey, pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
this just like an old dog, new trick sort of thing, or what?
well, sure. Just because those, I know the one thing about
Same
those
weight, just a little less line.
millimeter things. They're really tiny,
yeah.
tinier than inches,
Yeah.
and that's how close that shot was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was a
Big
very small
opportunity
tip.
here now. Big opportunity to solidify, giving the one to Team Park and coming home tied with Hammer.
And it was just so essential that
Clean.
Park get two on
Line's
this
good.
end.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Hard line.
I mean, he's still in it.
Hard line.
Yeah,
Gets
the-
one, it's tied,
Hard.
and he only needs to steal
Hard.
one, so it's a game.
Hard.
Here's that
hard,
factor
hard.
again. They're just
Hard.
dying here. You don't
Slow it
see
off,
this
if you
kind of
can.
a
Slow it
guard
off.
setup at
Hard,
this level
hard.
very often.
No.
What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guards.
This looks like Tuesday night to me.
This looks like a run-in.
But now it's
Well, they can run that in now since
Yeah.
it bounced off.
It's there. It's there.
certainly
There's a lot of risk.
the draw's gone away. So we're getting the last of the third stones for Park, so they still have two after this one. So
이거 보이는 만큼 맞아요 지금. 막.
Can he run that in?
아니면 이거 그냥 하나 버려.
what do you do? Won't you throw a howitzer down there, Hail Mary, and just hope stuff moves around? Or
Well, if he runs that red in and can catch the top blue in the house,
and the red jams on. Yeah.
yeah, that wouldn't work.
근데 이거
No.
진짜 보이는 만큼 맞아요.
He could run red to red. That doesn't gain him much.
Well, look it up at the overhead monitor here.
Yeah, he's behind the 8 ball.
That's like have one of those telestrators. I could draw you a million lines.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of options for him. There's not a lot of good options. He's looking at that middle blue.
And hit as much as you could see.
Oh,
He has to come by the other blue by a whisker, but
And it's sort of a little bit cornerish buried on the backside by the red.
yeah,
there.
but he might be able to run it onto the
해보자. 안 되면 그냥 앞에.
left side red rock in the forefoot.
But what that's going to do, you're going to run that blue one back. It's going to just
No,
barely-
no. The other side, the open red per se. He comes in there and rolls in and throws into his own. He could end up lying 2, but
And then you open up.
근데 여기서 오히려 실수해도
I
이쪽으로
wouldn't be betting
실수하긴
on
하죠.
success here.
No, they don't have a lot of good choices, and
No.
It mostly
any of
opens
them,
up.
none of them have a
Everything.
어?
a
Well,
high
the middle one though.
percentage of possibility.
킬러 온다면서.
Yeah, the middle blue should stay.
Well,
there.
here we go. We're the only crew still going. We're the only sheet still going.
All right.
I don't think it comes
Now
back.
the ice will
So
really
we
be
got
changing
lucky.
quickly.
We got the only
I guess
close
it depends
game.
How much he hits eventually. But if he hits this like thin and just sends it over top, then like that angle's actually set up pretty good for them too, isn't it? I guess that our
Okay,
red
so they're looking to hit
that
blue.
blue though on the button, right?
Blue to red.
And if the 2 goes like that, I don't. Still gonna catch it. Yeah.
Fell away.
All right, here we go. Let's see what they can make out of this.
Nothing.
Nothing. No, that was just a complete waste.
It goes on to this.
Now it has left that blue-red guard.
Unless, like, if you hit the inside,
Oh.
you might be able to get it.
Oh. Does
I
Slushinski
wouldn't
go
want
for
to
broke
hard
here? If he
wanna
hits
just
that
let
right,
it wick
it
off
could
this.
come in and shot rock would leave.
Boy, a steal here would just cement the win for
If you hit
Slushinski.
center line side, it'll
I
drag
don't know
this
about
way.
cementing, but it would
Yeah.
put him in a good position. I don't know. Now you're begging the question we hear
So-
on the TV broadcast.
So you're saying more like plastic?
Do you want to be up 2 without hammer?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, up 2 or
Or would you rather have hammer?
But if you
Down
hit
1,
that,
yeah.
it would
Tied
be a
up.
nightmare.
yeah.
It's fine if it was our last shot.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
in sport, I believe in being ahead.
This one.
If you're ahead, the other team has to score.
Yeah.
I would choose, of those 2, I would choose up 2 without.
Oh yeah, but the
But that's
pressure's
not,
on the other team. Then,
that's
yeah.
not a given. But they're lined up pretty good there, that blue and red up top.
Yeah, it's
You
hard.
whack them, they're going right in onto the blue,
Maybe if
biting the forefoot.
maybe the people in the broadcast booth can put up the overhead view to give our viewers a bit of a better perspective as to what they're looking at. It's
I'm going to say they don't have that control.
Yeah, I
I think
think
they do.
it's close to
I'll
that.
find out, I guess.
It's close to tick bang. Then you'd be
I like that on-air
Well,
suggestion.
depends where you hit it.
It's
I mean,
worked
you
a
can
few
get it
times, I
going-
think.
You could probably
Has
get
it?
going on.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Wow.
You could probably get it going on.
I'm like
I'll
EF.
have to get to know you better. Obviously, they listen to
I
you.
just don't know if it's worth it.
I'm like EF Hutton, you
What
know.
are we gaining?
When I talk, people listen.
Could line up the red, blue, and the
Actually,
Okay,
not
this is
really.
about the 3rd time.
I think
About
it
the
goes over
3rd
the top of
time,
that red,
I'm going to say I like communication. This is the 3rd long
Like right
discussion
now, it's hard for him to get.
Yeah, and it's like
on something that was obvious. Now, the last time they had a long discussion
No,
that
he
was
said
something
he
obvious,
was
Mr.
rather-
Slushinski dug in his heels and chose the wrong shot. So
just guard
yeah,
this.
I don't like.
chose the wrong shot, didn't make it.
Yeah, so I'm not crazy
You
about
can't-
these long
What if
discussions.
we guard? What if we
Let's see
guard
here what
this
they're
draw
saying
now?
here.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we only hear one of the mics of all 4 of them, so we can't quite get a good read on the conversation.
I'll throw out something since we have the time. We could do the throw your rock away situation. We could have that discussion.
Might as well throw that in, sure.
You threw your rock away here. What's Park going to do? I don't think there's
I-
anything he can do.
I think
Guard
He
this
could
then?
try and draw the side of the button from the right-hand side, which is a very unlikely.
Make him play on this side of the
I
sheet.
mean, it's technically it's there, but it's a,
I mean,
it's
the
a 1
sec-
in 100.
The red, that's the second shot, is not quite, but just inches
I
from
know.
nibbling the button. So, I mean, you'd have to make a picture-perfect shot.
A 1
which-
in 100, maybe even less.
well, picture-perfect shot, and they, frankly, haven't made one of those all day. So,
I mean, he could hurt himself playing that in though.
yeah, you're
I
right.
think we just guard this so he
this is a
can't
lot
rip
of
that whole
discussion.
side apart. Yeah, guard that.
Interesting.
So this is the first of the skip rocks for
Guard that double rip
Slushinski?
because he can open up that whole side of the sheet.
What are they talking about? How many rocks? Okay, there, that's why. So there's 4 rocks left. So
yeah. So we're just getting into the skip rocks here.
yep.
I'll time this one and just see what we get for.
Yeah,
ho-
he's throwing a
hog to hog.
guard. So I anticipate he throws around a 15-second hog to hog.
Well, yeah, that's good.
And
Well, I had 17 seconds, but I think I'm.
Yeah, because if he
It's a little hard up here. This angle
right.
is different when you're sliding along beside the
did
rock,
rip
but
that
이거
in,
이거 만들
it certainly is
his
slowing
one blade
down.
probably comes under the rest of the cover.
그리고
and
상대방
it's like a
이거에도
little
상대방
sketchy for
날려버렸어.
us the rest of
Was
the-
that where they wanted that rock going? I don't really see what.
Like,
yes,
might be
they
shot
for
wrong, but
some
like-
reason they were worried
He
about
can have a cover 3 probably.
The
a
quadruple
double run
run,
back of the
the double or
the
quadruple
2
run.
reds.
Yeah.
He could make it perfect, I think,
Well,
or he
Park's
could
first rock here, and
bang too.
boy, they don't have a lot of good options, do they?
No. I'm looking at peeling the front. There is a way to get rid of 3 reds, but the problem is the final red would go right into the pack and
Yeah.
might potentially muck up their shot situation.
스피샷이 힘들어.
Yeah, if he hits it high, it goes right onto that, kills that. If he hits it low, it could come off our 7 and just freeze onto the 1.
Just looking at the team information sheets while we wait for a decision to be made, looking at the Slushinski sheet there, they got 2 accountants, 1 IT
Because that nose
person,
will drag
and 1
it off
salesperson.
the angle
And
that
then
it's
their own
on.
handwriting
It'll
they
drag it
wrote
off the angle
equals
that it's
no
on,
fun.
And it's on about this much.
Oh, I don't know.
So if it comes
Get a couple of
down-
those craft beer that we have on tap here at the Penticton Curling Club, they might loosen up.
근데 딴게 할
Yeah.
거
The age is Slushinski's fairly young. Aaron's 36, Jeremy's
Yeah.
28, Kerr is 32, and Dylan is 32. So a reasonably young team. They've only been together in their entirety these for 2 years. And oddly enough, they said, "What?" The question is, what does curling mean to your team? And they wrote, "Bacon breakfast." Okay.
아니야 이거 얘기해 볼래 여기. 아 3개 안 들릴 것 같아.
They're looking to do a setup shot.
Actually, I don't know if
That's
I'd
what
do
I've
it.
read out of their
You're gonna leave your
indications
leader
so
there,
far.
it's staggered.
여기 아니면
I was
Trying to
just
put a
kinda
rock
thinking, like,
somewhere
at least you'd get
where
rid
on
of
the
our
final
guard.
shot
이거는
they've got a
Blue on your
possibility
next
of.
one? I don't think you would. You'd probably
getting
lose with some
two,
sort of
but-
stagger.
Do like an in-off or
힘들
something.
것 같아?
We did see him there just point to the one place he could draw to, which is the one I pointed out.
Yeah.
레드만 열려면. 그것도 괜찮은 방법이긴 한데.
Well, you can certainly tell these games aren't on a timer. 'Cause
이거 일단 이거 뒤로 열자.
we're well over
Wow.
2 hours on the 7th end
We're
here.
on the sea, though. We could probably run that in soft and guard his.
Still, they've got Kui to beat 2 hours and 35 minutes the other night. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Good Lord.
so these guys are effectively speedy compared to that.
That's funny though, because Kui, most of the games he'd be playing would be on timers. You think they would start?
Right, but if
They
you
have
think about all the times that he's been right down to like 5
Yeah.
seconds,
Take the one
so
underneath his blue.
You just sort of think though, with that kind of, using up time.
that's
and
what you would
time
think. But
management,
apparently, there's no
yeah.
coach in the land that's been able to convince him.
No.
We have 5 guards up there.
Well, the rest of the team has come back to our end, but the third is still having a good long look at the.
He's having a long look, and last I looked, those rocks haven't moved.
No, not too much. No.
He's going after that triple that I see, but I tell you, there's some
Lordy.
downside to this one. There's some downside. There's a possibility that they
Knock their own
move
out.
their own shot rock off a shot.
Yeah, that's a. Boy, this is a high risk shot. I'm not sure I'd be taking this one.
Yep.
Well, we'll know in a second.
어. 어.
Well,
Do you see the downside?
yeah.
Play soft on that.
Slushinski can now remove shot rock by promoting his own.
Yeah, I what was their thought process there? That's just, I mean, really.
I think it was let's hit it here and see what happens.
Rip it, make that double.
That's what I think.
That
in
might
the
be
end.
good on a
In
two-
other words,
that might be
a
good on a
decision-
Tuesday night here, but
a decision
yeah,
of
there's a
frustration.
I know I play a third of my Tuesday night team, and I'll often throw some suggestions like, well, what if we throw a missile down and move a bunch of rocks down, and my skip Tony, who's a little more common sense, goes, and what will that accomplish?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you have no idea where everything's going to end up. It's just going to, probably make things worse. And one out of 10 times you'll listen to me.
go
We
with
do
it.
it, and things get worse. So,
What you call a roulette wheel shot.
oh yeah.
Just throw it and see what
You're
happens.
most likely only going to get half under, and then that is for 2.
I mean, they got a big port to go through.
But,
for
but if you get a
The
piece
rock is-
under, that's for 2, maybe 3, right?
It's maybe
For 3.
quarter covered,
The rock gets to there.
half covered, third
It's
covered.
just a nose double.
Shooter in outcounting this one.
You're overthinking it again.
Yeah.
It's 3 conferences in a row.
I mean, basically, isn't
Almost like
just come down with control, wait for
what does
for
he
a
do if
little gentle takeout.
Well, there is a downside. So if he curls in too much and leaves his shooter there, then there's a double right back and a possibility of a 2. But even then, it's not a great possibility. Personally, I would want to come down, promote my rock,
Line it up.
maybe hit a half of it so it tucks under and my shooter rolls away. And then see what's what.
Well, then you're probably then leaving a very sort of high pressure.
I mean, yeah, get
High
so we don't
pressure,
fall.
Semi-
back
And then
4
stop.
tap
Yeah.
for 2.
Yeah, so it's
You like that?
yeah. Sometimes you'll put the
Ooh,
pressure.
I think I heard what they're going to do. I think they're going to do the wise, tap back, stay shot, but keep the blue in the 4 foot so that it's a backing
Back-
catcher.
Backing, yeah. That's not a,
I like that
tap it.
decision.
yeah, that's
Tap it.
good.
That's the
back
first
for
good
it.
decision out of these conferences that I've heard. I like this call. I like the decision. That one, I'll compliment them on that one.
Oh.
Well thought out.
But with only one mic, we can't hear the whole conversation, but I wonder if that was their first thought from the start, and 7 minutes later, we're down to the same decision. But here we
No,
are.
I don't think it was their first. I
No.
think the third seemed to be.
Yeah, you just need a little tap. You only need to
Yeah.
move it a foot or so.
Yeah. So there it is. Now comes the
30 to 40
Yep.
centimeters.
execution.
Yep.
The
Hard line.
toughest part of the game.
Hard.
He's light.
Hard.
Boy,
hard.
they're struggling
hard.
on
He's
hard.
light.
on the guard.
He's light. He's really light.
They're on the guard.
Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Way on the guard. Oh, my goodness.
That mucks things up. That mucks up the blue
Yeah.
run back. You know, in the end, it's a good
I have no idea
professional
how that
error.
light.
That was a
빨간 돌로.
fortuitous miss.
Out of my hand.
Your comment
Right out of my
about
hand, I
speed,
thought it
ice
was
speed was so
big,
timely.
if anything.
We've still seen so many rocks come up light. And if you think at the beginning of the
Didn't
game
know
they
that
were
bad,
heavy.
though.
So,
Yeah, and
and they are now the lone sheet out there.
And you figure, the pebble's been really knocked down on the ice, which normally would make it a big.
Right? It's
you know,
flat, so
yeah,
that takes
flat.
away from the
That's why
speed, and
it's-
then you take away the rest of the curver. So
Little bit of
be
frost.
interesting to see in the final end if it comes down to a draw to the 4 foot. We know it's not going to be easy. There we see the head ice maker, Chris Jones, out wandering.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Wondering
We're
how
on one of the wall sheets thinking, hurry it up, boys. I got to get this ice ready for the
I,
next draw.
I've got a, what is it, 3 o'clock draw coming up here, yeah.
Yeah. It's always a high pressure gig, these things. Fresh scrape for every draw, so there isn't a lot of wiggle room in between draws.
been
Yeah,
a
they,
power
they,
end.
they certainly work hard to provide very, very good ice for these competitors, and I know talking to them and just in general, they really appreciate playing on really good ice. It's,
Yeah, well, the goal of any club ice maker in these competitions is to mimic arena ice as best possible.
Yeah, you'll never get arena ice, but say if you can get
Right,
as
you
close
can
as
get close.
you can.
You
Yeah.
can get the curl now. He's got the speed. It's very, very close.
So you're an ice maker, and
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, so I'll ask. Why is arena ice better than curling club ice?
털이 좀 있긴 했거든 여기서가.
Because the building's heated more?
The big open space and the heat of the crowd.
Okay.
So,
even
you got so much air
yeah,
in an arena, and that air is the breath of all the fans, and so that's a big heat load. So ice is frozen from below, so it's very near melting on top. So your set point in an arena is like 5-10 degrees below what it would be in a club because you're freezing from below and it's battling that massive heat of the crowd. This is what I say, anticipation-wise, if you were talking to some of the top arena guys, they kind of have formulas. They have to make a projection. How big is the crowd going to be?
okay, here we go. Little angle raise.
Nothing.
No.
There it is. All tied up.
Yeah.
Slushinski has hammer.
So that's one for Park in the 7th end. Coming home in the 8th end, Slushinski will have the hammer tied up at 4-4.
Yeah. So you need to anticipate that by 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
So your early rounds, sparse crowds, not too big an issue. But then Saturday night
I
comes
thought I was hacking.
huge crowd.
Yeah,
And
you
if
have a
you
couple-
haven't anticipated it, you can't.
Yeah.
There isn't a plant
That was
that's
supposed to be
powerful enough
lightning.
and quick enough. So you have to err on the side of caution, get that temperature down before that big crowd comes in,
Stack
and
a
then
couple.
not on the same topic, but on arena ice. One of the great big problems is humidity.
Yeah.
So we've seen
Yeah.
down in the east, even the best ice makers. There's one year Dave Merkner, they did scrapes in the middle of the games. There was so much frost.
Yeah, for me.
Oh,
Now,
really?
if the
Yeah.
arena doesn't have
아, 승훈아, 이거
powerful
싸움 싸움 싸움
dehumidification
싸움
system, which this arena didn't have,
아니, 아니,
then
이거.
there's certain things you just can't do.
Yeah. Well, I know I've watched the games on TV, and maybe this is a bit of an older story,
이거
but
칩한데.
where they're having a problem on one sheet of ice, you realize, not beside the ice, but down the hallway and down a bit, and then there's a door, somebody's left the door open, and that
Sure.
breeze coming in down the hallway and through an opening is affecting the ice. Yeah.
근데 왔어도
If you watch
여기까지
curling
보내겠어.
regularly on TV, whether it's the Briars or the Grand Slams, you'll hear Mr. Howard and others, they'll comment on the sheet that's right next to the crowd. very often is significantly different than the others, and that's you're right near that heat source.
Yeah.
The middle
Okay.
seats are surrounded by other ice.
Just top 4.
It's a simple battle of
Humidity,
heat
and
and refrigeration.
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Should drag up
And
a bit.
one of the basic formulas they teach you, thermophysics, thermodynamics, heat goes from hot to cold. So when you freeze something, you're removing heat. That's all you're doing. You're not adding cold, you're removing heat.
Yeah.
And the heat is naturally transfers. A hot item put on a cold item, the heat will transfer from the hot item automatically to the cold item until they're equal temperatures.
Well, and ice making, I mean, it always has been an art and a
Well,
high-level
the
skill,
old
but it's
days it was pour
Let's
it, freeze it, and play on it.
yeah.
In the modern day now, you want to make it flat. You want to scratch your rocks. You want it super fast. So it has become. When I was doing it, I'd like to point out you're an artisan. So we don't hear that word much anymore. You're an artisan, so it's a bit of trades and knowledge and a bit of instinct and experience combined.
Mine's good.
So it really
Just
is
top
quite
4.
a craft.
Easy.
If one is trying to make top quality
Looks
ice,
pretty good.
particularly in a club setting.
Still
So,
running.
a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my career.
Curl.
Learned a lot. Didn't hurt my curling game. Gaining some of the knowledge about what's
Yep.
going on.
Yep.
All right, so we're just looking at the 4th rock here
That's
in
good.
the 8th end, tied
Good
up
shot.
at
Good
4-4.
Good sweep.
So
And that's a good one.
Slushinski put their first rock way deep. You can see it there at the
Yeah.
very
Carrot.
back of
Roll it,
the
아니면은-
house in the 12 foot. So there was
Carrot.
their
Roll it.
first error,
Do you like playing
but
that?
they've done better on their second rock. It's behind
Do you
cover.
like playing that
full 8 foot.
the low way?
It's not really overburied. So
like
it-
하면 이번에,
the
이번에
Mark
이번에.
can get to
근데
it.
굳이 지금 여기 안 붙여도 될 것
Get
같아.
to it and tap it.
여기도 괜찮을 것
Looks
같고.
like he wants. Oh, he's either going to freeze to it or
나
come around
더블
it.
Well, you can never
하나씩
not
Yeah,
know.
the
가야
guard
될
up
것
there
같아.
is
I think it's a
certainly
little
high.
easier
It's
to
a
make it
well
that
중요하다,
way, and you
이거.
don't run
logo.
the other one into our
Interesting
top
choice.
8.
인턴으로 올래? 아웃으로
He's
올래?
not going
Yeah,
to go over
like
the
it's-
freeze. Going to come around the other side, try to get around
인턴이
everything.
좋긴 한데
Go to the button.
아웃턴이
I mean, if you make
Okay.
it for top and you kill our top, then that's still fine.
Yeah,
아웃으로
that's
올게.
An aggressive move early in the end.
Well, he does need
Yeah,
to
whichever
steal.
way you want to play it. Just
So,
look at the
yeah,
angle
in
while you're
order to
here.
steal,
might as
you
well,
have
right?
to be aggressive. If he does this, then we can anticipate Slushinski taking away the front
Yeah.
guards,
Oh,
at least
yeah.
one of them.
Yep.
We are playing ties at the
Yeah.
pool play, aren't we? Yes.
No,
Or not.
it's extra ends.
What okay.
I believe so.
밀어봐. 밀어.
It usually is.
I asked
The angle
myself this
change.
question last night. We had a possible tie coming up, and I didn't know.
Now
the answer.
definitely over top.
7번이라서 내가 타이타이 잡는데 비슷하게 도는 것 같은데 어때? 느낌?
It's like 2/3. Okay. It's a hair thicker than 2/3.
Seeding based on round robin and draws to the button.
So let's talk. Slushinski here looking for a peel takeout.
Yep. Hard. Okay.
Unsuccessful. Still two guards.
Yeah.
They were trying too hard for the double peel. Nothing in,
이거 쌤나
in
줄게.
the rules
바깥쪽 걸린 거라서.
for this
아, 3점만 더
event,
줄게. 그래서
so that tells me it would be an extra end. That's what that tells me.
So Park drawing down.
티 좋아.
Ooh, he's got a lot of weight now.
휘네. 얍. 워. 얍. 워.
Starting to come
휘네.
out a bit now.
워.
Trying to get him behind the red
Oh.
rock.
Yes, I think they've got a good one.
Oh.
워.
Whoa.
They
boys.
do
Let
have
it
a good
finish there.
one.
Oh, look at that. Oh, wow.
There's a beautiful
Man,
shot.
That was a dandy. See,
Oh,
that
a
missed.
tad deep. as good
Yeah.
as it is behind the tee line.
2/3.
But boy, I tell you, to get there, they're going to have to replicate. No, they're not going to try. But
No, he's still
This one will run a
he's
little
doing the
straighter,
wise
I think,
thing.
than
He's
your last.
still working that front.
yeah, that thing just squeezed by that red rock in the 8-foot by whiskers.
Myself, I think I might just single peel
Yep.
that blue guard.
Whoa,
Rather
whoa.
than going-
Curl, curl,
Yeah.
curl,
Either-
curl, curl.
Private both.
Because it's the blue one. Oh my goodness.
Oh, lordy.
Oh my goodness. That's where you apologize
Yeah,
to your opponent.
I was going to say, yeah, you go down and say, yeah. I mean, we're still taking it, but sorry.
But going back to what they're doing, they're creating more difficulty than needed.
It was
The problem rock is that
very,
center
very
blue
close
that's
to
still there.
hitting the
And it was wide open, so
center
they
line.
could have just
Like,
peeled that.
missed it.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of upside to the double peel, but only if you make it. And it's a much more difficult shot than a single peel. Anyways, they
Yeah.
sure got lucky there.
well, yeah. And not as much at this level, but certainly there's always a bit of an element of luck in this game.
Sure. But this also is the advantage of having hammer. Now there's one lone guard. Even if they get it in there, that guard's going to disappear. The only thing I can say is maybe they'll keep it above the tee line
Yeah.
this time. That would be an improvement.
Yeah,
But they virtually put it in an identical spot.
yeah. Again, too deep. Yeah.
Identical spot. Right behind the button.
And they weren't that close to the guard this time. I'm not sure why they didn't get off it and just let it die and come to stop above the tee line.
Nerves.
You like that turn? Which
There's Andrew, one of our ice makers down there, with head ice maker Chris and some volunteers prepping the sheets for the 3 o'clock draw. Now they're going to peel the blue guard.
clean? Yep.
Probably should have done a couple rocks
Hard,
ago.
hard, hard.
Oh, are they going to peel it?
Or run it back. Not peel it.
Oh, they
Girl.
did peel it.
じゃあ肩だけ
Held it long enough on the line.
センター쪽이 될 것 같다.
Pure peel. Ooh.
Boy, they're obsessed with that button, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're all time.
I don't
depends
like
where
this
it is.
strategy.
Like we-
How
that
many
was long.
rocks are
Good ball.
left? Quite a few rocks left. I don't know. I would say most pro teams would be putting up another guard.
Yeah, I mean, they're tied 4-4, but
Make
like right
Slushinski
now,
keep
I
peeling it
Slushinski
off.
has the hammer, yeah.
Have some room to draw to.
I understand if he makes this, he's frozen, but he's still
Yeah.
behind the tee line, and there's a
14.
short
I
run
draw.
back
I
right in
got
front of it.
14,
So,
21 on the first.
oh, okay, there we go.
짧은 거
I
여기
misinterpreted.
짧은 손아.
High.
Misinterpreted the body language. He is
Ah.
replacing the guard,
손아,
so
손아,
good
손아,
for
컬러야 돼,
him.
컬러야 돼,
Yeah,
컬러야 돼.
that makes more sense, yeah.
He's getting
더
over
해야 돼,
enough.
더 해야 돼, 더 해야 돼. 준아 더 센터에 물게 줘,
Yeah,
물게 줘.
it's over enough. That's enough for
There we
Slushinski.
are.
He'll go out and he'll peel it off again.
That was an 18-second rock. Hog to hog. measure.
Well, yeah.
Now it's going to peel this one out of here.
하나 더 하고.
나도 같은 생각.
Yep. Yep.
Looks
Clean.
like on
Draw.
I
track for
think
a
this could
nice
be the.
peel.
I think. What do you think? I think this might be the pattern right until the.
Last rocks. Last
Yeah,
rock.
maybe even just the last rock.
Yeah. Well, tied up.
Well, beg the question. So,
Slushinski
assuming
has
that
the hammer.
keeps happening, the guard and the peel and the guard and the
6초.
peel, and now you're
6초
Mr.
얼마나
Park.
6초.
On your last rock, do you put up another guard and say, okay, come down to it, or do you come and freeze your own and say, make the run
I
back?
feel like if he
I
makes
think you
his
got to come and
guard,
freeze your own and challenge him.
do I make
Short
this
run back,
draw
but
now?
yeah.
It is.
I would agree. I would agree.
But if you're frozen to your own, it's
Yeah, yeah.
all they have to be off by
Yeah.
a little bit
Or
on the
go
angle, and
deep.
they lose the red, the running back. So
Yeah.
세
Now it's
맞춰야 돼.
easy to say up here, but making a perfect freeze to one that's totally buried in the back of the button. That's
yeah.
Might just try to take away one of the draws. I wouldn't be
Oh, you'd be
surprised if
amazed when I'm at home. I'm an
draw
expert
make
on
it
hockey,
this.
gridiron football, rugby,
I
curling.
could just tap or
yeah, armchair quarterbacks.
Oh yeah. Especially
My wife and I have great fun watching curling and yelling at the TV
critiquing the world's best. Yeah.
and
What's he doing if we
debating with Mr. Howard, even though he doesn't know
don't
he's in the
know.
debate.
이거 쳐도 더블 안 나오게끔.
I don't like it because if I'm
Well, it's nice having people like Howard, commentating on the
Sure.
game.
He
I
can't
mean,
make
they're
anything
coming from a
really
whole different
good.
position than
Yeah,
somebody.
they've been there. They understand
I'm always
what's
gonna
going
have
on.
something
And
like relatively, yeah.
you've got Vic Router, and he plays the foil and asks the stupid questions that we might ask. So So the viewers that don't know curling can understand it better, and those of us that do can.
Hard.
Here comes the third peel in a row by Slushinski. And successful.
There it is. 2 rocks left. Tie game. Slushinski with a hammer. Nothing out front. And Mr. Park wants to put it right there.
Okay, he can't take everything away.
And I'd
gonna
like to
have
see you get it
something
there,
very
because you're not where he first had his broom. It's almost impossible to have your rock come down and
But
do
you
a
can't
left
put it
turn.
I think where he's
You can put your
indicating right
broom
now,
there.
he's
But
not-
you put the rock there.
I mean, basically,
He's
Yeah,
always
we
going to
know
be
he
a little
wants
more
to be in the
open or a little
4 foot.
deeper, whereas I'm going to have like just a tiny little slash roll. Because I don't want to throw this draw. I haven't even thrown this out of the sheet the whole game. Yeah. This draw's fine. Or the tap.
quite interesting though. The one fellow's speaking Korean and the
그거
other speaking English
탑
back to him.
버튼에서 반 정도 몰려도 괜찮을 것 같긴 한데.
Or is that the other team we're hearing?
No, it's the other team right here. What we were hearing
더블로 안 나오게
was
해줘.
I'm so confused.
the conversation between Slushinski and his
시원하네.
third.
탑 버튼
He
이거
chops
치면
off.
돼.
And just run the double.
아,
What do you
살짝만
figure?
더. 하나만
A
더.
turkey right on the button?
I'd probably
여기서.
play it.
오케이,
The
됐어.
team in general has had a
Yeah.
pretty good
지금 웨이트 괜찮 땡겨가네.
success rate on this draw. Twice they put it right in the spot where the current shot rock is. So
But I think being behind the tee line frozen to your own is not a bad spot to be, because you're not going to
yeah,
be
if he can get in there, it's not going to be an easy final shot for Mr. Slushinski.
Yeah.
And we've seen both
Doesn't go back
teams
like
make
yesterday.
errors
but it
Doesn't
runs
look
the
light.
time.
라인 좋아, 라인 좋아, 라인
Sweepers
좋아.
haven't thought it's light. Now it's coming down. Are they calling for line or just for weight? Just for
I've
weight.
got 14.49 seconds.
He's pretty close,
Gotta get it by.
but he bounces off. Okay.
Ah, he's
Yeah.
right.
I think no.
Decisions.
Another international term in curling. Ah.
Here it is. He's
Yeah.
going for the double.
Oh yeah,
Other
no,
one,
it's,
yeah,
it's,
other-
it's
yeah,
there's
there,
lots
but
of
he's
room
got
there.
a.
Now the third says lots
see
of
the whole-
room.
you can
That's
see the
lots of
whole
room
rock.
to the end. Yeah, but it's not a ton of room. Not a lot of room for error. Here we go. Final rock.
Boy, and they're taking.
In the end, as far as scoring goes, great tight game all along. Mistakes both ways has made it very entertaining. We've had a few really nice shots, so a really nice. I would consider you make this double. That's a really nice shot.
He's just taking out
Finish with a flourish. It's
zero
close.
ice. Zero ice.
It's close. There's
Yep.
no call.
Clean. Whoa.
It's pretty close.
Yep.
He seemed happy.
And
There we
makes the
are.
double. Big score of 3. The biggest score of the game.
Slushinski for the win.
Final score.
Game. Good
Sheet
luck.
C.
Game. Good luck.
Draw
Good luck.
6. Slushinski 7 points. Park 4 points. Slushinski goes to
That's the one where I should
2-0.
have just said, just don't burn it.
His good season.
And Park
Continues.
goes to one. Yeah, Park goes to 1-1.
Oh, I-
1-1. Thank you very much,
Slide it.
everybody. I'm Owen
Oh, it's
Hayward.
just like we were
I'm
talking
David
Join
D.
me.
Hull. Thank you very much, Owen. It's been a pleasure.
Mine as well.